Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again on another wild, crazy edition of Crime and Sports. This week, again, we're dipping into the brain damage sports once again, and always a treat. And this is one I've been saving for like 3 years. Yeah. This is one like 3 years ago I wanted to do it, and I'm so happy I didn't because more stuff has happened since then, and it's just, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. It's boxing. But quickly before we get into that, thanks for everything this week. Drop us a review on whatever platform you're listening to. You know what you're doing and you know how to do it. So do that. It does help us a lot. Give us 5 stars. Yeah. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com immediately to get your tickets to the virtual live show for Small Town Murder. And if you haven't listened to Small Town Murder, I don't know what you're doing. You're really missing out because it's just as crazy as it is over here, except there's always murder and there's hillbillies.
Every time.
There's lots of wild stuff going on. So really, this woman lived in a swamp for like 2 weeks with her kids this week, escaping from she was a murderer, so she wasn't really escaping, but it was crazy. Anyway, check that out. Listen to that.
I've been sitting around for so many years, James, waiting for the one where there isn't a murder.
Oh, no, this one, everything worked out great. That's nice. So get your tickets to the virtual live show. It's on February 10th. It's available for 72 hours after that, and it's going to be amazing. So please come and join us. We're excited for that. And tickets to all your live shows throughout the year. Tons of merchandise. Get everything there at the old website, shutupandgivememurder.com or momenthouse.com/smalltown murder is the virtual live show. Also, patreon.com/crime and sports. Always good. This week, no different. 2 new episodes for you this week, and anybody $5 or above, of course, you get access to everything. Crime and Sports bonus, Small Town Murders bonus, every kind of bonus you could possibly want. And we have this week some very, very good stuff for you here. For Crime and Sports, we are going to do an awesome story. This is one of those stories I love. I love imposters. An imposter story. We have so much fun with those on bonuses. We have a guy his name is Ron Weaver, a.k.a. Ron McKelvey, and his story is insane. He's a college football player. And then he was like a mediocre college football player, but then he just changed his name and everything and then went back to school as a freshman like a couple of years later and then was dominant because he was like 24 years old and everyone else was 18. It's amazing. You got to hear this story to believe it. It's wild. And we're talking this isn't like Division II, major universities. It's a huge scandal. It's awesome. And then for Small Town Murders bonus, we are going to talk about I'm so excited for Deadwood, South Dakota. And, as you might know of as a show, Deadwood was a crazy, wild, gold prospecting, lawless, wild town. Well, I found, if you've watched the show Deadwood, the Jeffrey Jones character, A.W. Merrick, and his newspaper, I found like all the newspaper archives for the Deadwood Pioneer. So we are going to do like
the guy from Ferris Bueller.
Yes, the principal from Ferris Bueller who's been arrested for very bad things. He didn't actually write the newspaper itself that we're going to talk about, luckily, but we're going to talk.
He played the guy.
We're going to talk about like the first couple of years at Deadwood and go over the newspaper and talk about shootings in the streets and all sorts of crazy. Think about all the nutty shit that's happening in a lawless pioneer town where half the people live in tents. It's going to be amazing. So check that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And you'll get a shout out at the end of the show where Jimmy will mispronounce your name while trying to pronounce it properly. And if you just want to make a donation and get your name read at the end of the show and have great karma, you can do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Let's do this. A lot of show here.
All right.
Let's dip in. We're dipping into boxing.
I love it.
And we got a good one here. Vincenzo Edward Pazienza.
Yeah.
You know who that is? Vinny Pazienza?
No.
You don't know who Vinny Pazienza is?
No.
Oh my God, he's a lunatic.
Is he a lightweight?
Yeah, he's a lightweight, and then he goes up to like light welterweight. Goes from like 135 to the low 150s in his career. So he later on he'll change his name legally to Vinny Paz at one point.
I do know that name.
There you go. That's Vinny Pazienza. He fought his whole career under Pazienza, and like the last 3 fights, he's like, I'm changing my name. Better known,
He shortened it.
and he shortened it, which is understandable if you. Yeah. From a Pazienza to a Petrogallo, believe me, I get it. There's many. My father, when he like orders anything, like at a restaurant or they want your last name, he just says Gallo. It doesn't even bother because he doesn't want to see the look on someone's face. So I get it. Trust me. Believe
Did you say
me.
Gallo? No. Callo. With a C.
C-A-L-L-O. Jerry with a C. C-A-L-L-O.
Jerry's dead. I know he's dead. That's what they told me.
Jerry Gallo. Jerry Gallo's dead. I know that. So
that's so good.
That's what it is, though. You have to. So, but his nickname, better known as the Pazmanian Devil, is what he is called.
What?
The Pazmanian Devil, and he
wouldn't just go by Paz, like P-A-W-S. That seems easy.
Paz? Why wouldn't? Well, no,
because he's a boxer, and his last name is Paz.
Paz, P-A-Z, Pazienza.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
sorry. I just think it's easier. Vinny Paz, P-A-W-S. He's a boxer, for fuck's sake. It seems like an easy leap. He's throwing paws all day.
Jimmy's opening a marketing company for up-and-coming boxers. This is his first foray into it, so don't judge him. He's going to get better. It's going to get better.
Doesn't even feel like you have to jump for that. That's just a step.
If you're planning on becoming a boxer or just getting into it, and you know the difference between anonymity in some club somewhere and being a world famous boxer, it's a nickname, and one guy out there can help you with that, and that's Jimmy Wisman.
Not
Vinny Paz. See, there's an example of his amazing work. Sign
that's what
now.
I really thought when you said, is it P-O-Z? Is that what he ended up going?
P-A-Z-I-E-N-Z-A, and he just shortens it to P-A-Z, Paz, Vinny Paz. So
I think I've heard of it, but I thought it was like P-A-W. Maybe I thought that's what it was.
Vinny Paz. I know Vinny Paz. Yeah.
The boxer, right?
Vinny's got
paws around.
So he's born in and will always be. He's one of these guys that hometown always, forever type of guy. Doesn't move around really. Just stays home and always repping home. Cranston, Rhode Island, loves it. And he loves it. Born December 16th, 1962. He's getting up there now. Now, his family, to be expected, he comes from a tough family. We'll put it that way. The way he says it, he got his toughness from his parents. He says that his father is the toughest person he ever met, except for his mother, because she's even tougher, and he explains why.
And he boxed.
These are hardy people, okay? Yeah. His father is from Italy, came to the States when he was 18, fled in the middle of World War II. And so his father and my grandmother have like a very similar story, came over at just about the same age and the whole deal. So I really know what his father's all about. These are a fucking aggressive and stout people. They just don't
and
take
stayed
shit.
On the East Coast in New England, Italian New Englander.
Yeah,
and, you know what I mean. That's a different group.
They're a different kind of breed, and especially too, his father's a barber always. So the hands, right? I can't describe to you the hand strength on a fucking old Italian barber, but they could crush you're not even your hand. They could grab your wrist and crush the bones on it. Like my grandfather used to bring you to your knees. That was his trick as a kid. He'd squeeze your hand. You go, oh, Jesus Christ. And you'd fall to your knees because he cut hair for 50 years and his hands were like iron grips.
It's scissors.
Iron grips, just constant. And he did it.
He's flexing it all day.
Fucking 12 hours a day of that shit. Just bap, 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 bap. So his father fled Italy, this is during World War II, Italy was not occupied by the Nazis for a long time. So if you grew up then, you lived with Nazi soldiers walking around, which is unsettling at best, we'll say. You know,
uniform and everything.
Oh, with tanks and shit. We're talking the whole, not just a couple of them out for a night on the town. We're talking whole units. They're there and they're occupying, and they pretty much, you know, they do what they want because they're occupying. So this is the famous story about I would complain to my grandmother about something that was bothering me as a child, trivial, but, you know, as a child, a major concern. And then she'd tell me, when I was a little girl, when we used to have to hide so the Nazi soldiers wouldn't rape us. And I went, oh, okay, never mind.
I guess I'll eat this cereal dry.
So I guess 2% milk's going to be good then. I guess we don't need the 1%. Okay, good. Yeah, I'll just use that. Okay. Thanks, Grandma, for putting it all in perspective.
Yeah.
And that's how they raise you. They raise you as, well, at least there's no Nazis walking around trying to kill you. Like, that's good. So you should be fucking satisfied with what you have. You have food and there's no Nazis.
Yeah.
Done and done. What the fuck?
So it's American Beauty pasta. Eat it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's, well, we don't skimp on the pasta. That's one thing we're not going to. We'll skip other places, but we're going to eat the pasta. That's good pasta.
Close enough.
Make it ourselves. What the fuck? They're from Italy. He can slap a pasta together in no time. So,
all right.
Anyway, he said his father had to flee Italy after there was apparently some Nazi soldiers stole some animals from the farm. They would just come and take shit from your farm. So, obviously. So, apparently a Nazi soldier who was straggler in the group stole a cow, and his father pitchforked him in the chest and killed him.
Hell yeah.
So this is that's a story. So apparently then he had to be like Vito Corleone out of the country. Like he had to be hidden, and, you know, they were like searching for where's the boy who killed the soldier? You know, you couldn't do that, obviously. So they had to, you know, get him and
get him into
flee.
Right, into the cargo hold of a ship somewhere.
Yeah, up a donkey's ass and get him through town, and, you know, in a hay pile, and then on a ship, and then, you know, all that stuff. So he ended up coming to America when he was 18 when that happened. So that's where his father comes from, fleeing after pitchforking a Nazi.
Wow.
So this is the type of people we're dealing with. And he says, though, his mother is even tougher. He says his mother one day was carrying groceries home and fell down on the front stairs of the house, which are all the houses back here and back there are all like the concrete steps, you know, those.
Oh yeah, they're granite ledge.
Yeah, they're
very steep.
Yes, exactly. I fell down a flight of them when I still have a scar on my fucking head. I fell down a flight of them when I was a kid. Happened a lot. So they're bad.
Granite slabs that they just, a smaller one up top. That's all.
Or the shittier house is just concrete. That's, you know, the concrete ones. Either way, though, they're fucking hard. So apparently his mother fell on the stairs while carrying groceries, and she hurt her knee, and apparently went inside, made dinner for everybody. Because, you know, we gotta eat, you know, injured or not. Everybody's got to eat here. So
I'm cooking for a man who pitchforked a Nazi.
Yeah, he wants his dinner.
Better get that dinner ready.
He wants his dinner on the table. So made dinner for everybody. And then once it was all ready and everybody ate, and she waited till everybody was done eating, and then she said, "Can I have a ride to the hospital, please? I hurt my..." And her knee was shattered in 8 places. Her kneecap was broken. Her fucking knee was broken.
Wow.
Her knee was totally destroyed. It was the size of a basketball. But she made dinner and waited till everybody finished first, and then said, "Can I please have a ride to the hospital?"
Her knee's the size of the eggplant parmesan tray, but everybody's fed.
They're a hardy people. Let's just say that. They're a hardy people. So they're kind of your classic. I mean, they're like he's a few years younger than my parents, 5 years younger than my dad. Not even. I think 4 years younger than 5 years younger than my dad. So it's the same thing. You know, my grandparents, the same deal. So I know exactly how he grew up. His father. He grew up like my dad, pretty much, because his father was a barber. This guy's, Vinny's father, Angelo's a barber, and his uncle Sal, his father's brother, also a barber. My family, my grandfather, a barber, his brother, a barber, their uncle, barbers, their aunt cut hair. They owned shops. That's how my grandfather got his start, was cutting hair when he was 12 in his uncle's barber shop.
Sal too, right?
Everybody's named Vinny and Sal, Jimmy. It makes it easier to remember. Makes it easier, you know. All those hits in the head, we can't remember a lot, so it's how it works. So Uncle Sal's a barber.
Jesus.
Uncle Sal, Angelo, Vincenzo over here. We got it's Christmas at my house, everybody. Enjoy. Come on over. That's what it is.
Pasta's fresh.
And it always is. His father, Angelo, his mother's name is Louise, by the way. Father Angelo thought he wanted him to be a baseball player, actually.
Wanted Vinny to be a baseball player?
Yeah. Vinny's he's only 5'7", Vinny. He's a small little guy. So we both relate to him now. So
Vinny is me and you together.
Yeah, if you mixed us together. He wanted him to be a great middle infielder in baseball, so he called him Scooter. After Phil Rizzuto, who was the Hall of Fame Yankee shortstop, and shortstop of all those '50s teams that were so good. So the way she's described his mother, this house is such a Saturday Night Fever house. Like, he grew up in the Saturday Night Fever house.
Yeah.
Like, if you've seen that movie, Travolta comes downstairs and all the pictures and the fucking saints and all that shit, and there's dinner on the table, everybody's yelling at each other. It's night in the mid 70s. That's exactly when Vinny was like that age too. Like, he is Saturday Night Fever.
Fascinating.
In this article, they describe, quote, "Mom is Louise. She makes ricotta cheese pie and has more religious artifacts than the Vatican," which describes every old Italian lady, is what they just described.
She's fine.
She'll sling a ricotta pie, and she'll have shit everywhere. Yeah. So he says, quote, "There's the large print of Da Vinci's Last Supper, lots of illustrated copies of the Lord's Prayer, a statuette of Christ on the cross. She sprinkles holy water on a writer's notepad. Pictures of Vinny, which are everywhere, are rosary draped. Like he's dead. That's the other thing. Oh, Vinny. Oh, he could be hurt out there. Oh, my God. Oh, my Vinny's doing the sign of the cross. Ma, Vinny's fine. He was just here 10 minutes ago. He's doing great. He's got things.
He broke his tooth.
Something bad could happen, though. It could happen, and I got to get ahead of it. That's how these people, you have no idea.
He broke his tooth on the rosary beads that you had in that ricotta pie.
Yeah, I put it in there. I thought maybe if he just ate it without knowing, it would protect him. You never know, you know? My Vinny, be careful out there, sweetheart. You have no fucking idea how overwhelming this can be. That says a lot. Just pictures of Vinny everywhere, rosary draped. That says everything you need to know about this family, and it's fucking hilarious and more relatable than I can even tell you. Whenever Vinny would have fights later on, he's a boxer, his mother would light 2 candles to keep him safe and, pray.
One for him and one for the other guy?
I guess prayer candles, probably, honestly. She never would go to his fights, though, because she can't watch that. Oh, really? She'd jump in there and fucking hit the other guy with a rolling pin. You can't. An Italian mother can't watch that. No, that's never going to happen.
You hit my baby.
Oh, he could be kicking the shit out of the guy. The guy throws one flailing jab as he's running the other direction. You son of a bitch, she'd get in there. How dare you hit my Vinny? She'd be all over him. I'm telling you. It's ridiculous, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. The love that an Italian mother gives is it's a lot. It's like a dump truck load, and you're just pouring it into the back of a Toyota Tacoma, and you're like, that's enough. It's full. Come on. They're like, the trucks. There's a lot left in the truck. We're going to keep going. You're like, oh, for Christ's sake, I can't even move.
You paid for it. You get what you paid for.
You get what you paid for. But Ma, please, stop dumping it. Jesus. So Angelo later on would say that Vinny was never in trouble as a kid. But he was. He was never in, legal trouble. He wasn't getting arrested all the time. But he was always kind of a pain in the ass, Vinny. Vinny's got a lot of energy. He likes to fight. He's a showman when he fights, too. That's the thing. You watch a Pazienza fight, whether he wins, whether he loses, you're going to have a fun time watching the fight. He's going to be dancing, putting his chin out there, doing all that shit. Boy. He puts on a fucking show. He understands that the difference between boxers in ability is very, very slim. So who gets to go on TV and make the money? It's the guy that people want to watch, and he understands that. Yeah. So he gets it. I mean, that's a lot of guys don't get that shit at all, and they're just very boring. So he would beat the shit out of kids at elementary school for just all the time. Twice a week they'd be calling home, going, "Vinny beat somebody else up again." And they're like, "Oh, for Christ's sake, Vinny, what are you doing?"
He's fighting every day.
Fighting all the time, but then at the same time, it's like, stop doing that. But, good job. That's how it's treated, too. It's the thing here. So at one point, somebody stole his bike as a child. His bike was stolen, so he went to his house and just kicked his garage door in. Over it, apparently.
His own garage door?
No, the guy who stole his bike, the kid who stole his bike. He knew who stole it, so he went over. The kid wouldn't come out of the house, so he just kicked his garage door and fucking busted it all up and destroyed it. And, he said that Angelo yelled at him for that because he had to pay for it. But other than that, no big thing here. One time he got caught putting slugs in a pinball machine. Oh, boy, you little hooligan. But, I mean, that's... If you gave an adult a bunch of slugs and put them in a room full of pinball machines, now they'd be like, no one will notice if I just put one of these in there. You know what I mean?
As long as they fit, who gives a shit?
Let's see if this will... It worked. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It's lighting up. There's the ball. Let's get it on now.
Who's the real victim?
But he didn't get arrested or anything like that. None of that bullshit.
Well, it's a 25-cent crime. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. And you're not stealing. It's not like you did that. Now the pinball machine can't be used by others. Like, the next person can still drop a quarter in. You just got a free service.
Free run at it.
Yeah, it's not really.
It's not like you get to take the fucking pinball machine home now.
No. It's like, and it's not even like a lot. Like, it's not like it was anything that you, like, sweat on or, like, it's like stiffing it's like... I'm not going to say that. Just for a hand job, you know what I mean? Not for anything that's that invasive, but it would be like that. It's terrible to do, and nobody would approve of it, but you'd be like, well,
that's
it's not
at least theft of services.
That's what I mean. Well, this is theft of services. It's theft of the pinball machine service.
Goddamn. That's a machine. Who gives a shit?
Well, I mean, it's not like you can't give another hand job. It's the same thing. The machine can collect another quarter.
Unless you set the high score,
it's a bad thing.
It changes nothing.
You shouldn't do that, by the way. Who did we have that stiffed an escort? Didn't we have
I don't know.
We had a crime and sports person that stiffed an escort. We were like, now that is above and beyond the call of shitty. Like, that is fucking ridiculous. That person sucked your dick. You pay them for that.
They absolutely earned
They earned that money, you asshole. Like, there's nothing lower than that.
Save that for, like, stiffing the guy that rewires your house later. At least he didn't have the indignity of your penis inside of him in one way or another.
At least he didn't have to see your balls. So when Vinny's 15, everything changes. Everything changed. Now, he was into boxing before this and had boxed before this, but when he's 15, he went down to Park Cinema, which was 5 blocks away, and he saw something that would change his entire life.
What did he see, James?
What do you think he saw, Jimmy?
Deep Throat.
Well, he saw that a couple of years before, and that did change his life. But this changed it in a different way.
What was it?
This changed it in a way that he wanted to put his career. See, this is the thing. He didn't want to see Deep Throat and then be like, I'm going to suck all the cock I can.
He saw Rocky.
He saw Rocky when he was 15, which
he was like, he's Italian. I could do that.
Yeah, if you've seen old Eddie Murphy stand up, there's a bit in Eddie Murphy Raw about Italians around Rocky time, and it's unfortunately is more true than I would like to say, but there's something about, I don't know what it is. You see Sylvester Stallone.
Rocky was more culturally relevant to Italians than The Godfather.
No, they're the same. They're equal. No, they hold equal levels of esteem in the culture. In the culture. Yeah, Rocky's the blue collar guy. They're this guy. They're like the crime people because that's separate. Rocky's a legit guy. You know. I mean, yeah, he was twisting a couple of thumbs, maybe breaking a leg now and then in the beginning of Rocky, but hey, you got to do what you got to do to get by, you know what I mean? So, but every Italian kid that sees Rocky goes, you know, hey, and look at him, he's fucking small, you know, and all this shit. And that's the other thing he saw, Vinny, is he's a smaller guy, Sly's a smaller guy, so he saw, hey, he's a fucking tiny guy, he's going to be heavyweight champ of the world, I could fucking do this. So He said, quote, "It sparked something. A flame ignited and it started burning."
Oh, boy.
I saw that guinea on fucking that screen and I said, look at that. I could fucking do that. He almost beat Carl fucking Weathers. What are you kidding me?
He couldn't even say Carl Weathers.
He couldn't even say. Later on, too, he has a different a different take on it at the end of his career.
Really?
Yeah, because at first he's like, I saw this as like a positive story, and then at the end of the career he's like, hold on a minute. So we'll get to it. He said that he saw Rocky 1 when he was 15. He said, quote, "I lettered in high school in football and baseball." So he was playing a lot of sports. He's a good athlete, very good athlete. He said, but then I saw that movie and it ignited the competitive fire inside me. I used to box in the cellar with some of my friends. I was good. After we saw the movie, my friends were saying, "You've got to go to the gym. You've got to try it." The next day, I put on my jogging stuff. My father, Angelo, saw me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to start training. I want to be a boxer." He said, quote, "Get back in bed. Don't be stupid and stay in school." Which is exactly what an Italian father would tell you. Yeah. Get back in bed, you stupid idiot. You want to fight? I'll smack you. Get the fuck back in bed. That's what they do. You want somebody to hit you? Pow. There you go. Yeah. They just
school night.
Never mind, put them up. They just give you a shot. Pow. There. You like that? That's what you want to fight? I'll hit you. Boom. There you go.
You couldn't even block it. What do you mean you want to fight?
You're going to sleep one way or the other, kid.
Fantastic.
Voluntarily or not. So he said, "Don't be stupid. Stay in school." He said, "I promised I would keep my grades up, and I went to the gym, and whammo, the ball just kept rolling." So he said later on, by the way, and we'll find out how, because it's a hilarious story, he gets to meet Sylvester Stallone later on.
Oh, really?
And, Stallone's very much into boxing, and there's so many fighters that have gotten, like, letters and messages and phone calls from Stallone, because, he's Rocky, so...
Yeah,
he can just call up, Caesars and go, boy, put me through the guy in a heavyweight fight tonight, would you? And they'll put him fucking through. And he can just
the blue trunks, would you?
Put me through the guy in the blue trunks. I think he's a black guy. I don't know. So, but anybody he liked, he would compliment them. And for some reason, that's always a huge deal to boxers when Rocky likes them. So anyway, He says about Stallone, he's a nice guy, very down to earth. Stallone is not down to earth, by the way. That's the last fucking thing he is. Have you seen his hairline? He's like 78 years old. That's the least down to earth hairline I've ever seen. It looks like he planted it last week. Looks like he had the landscapers come in and sod that shit last week. Bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
He is not thrilled that this is almost over for him.
I've never seen a hairline without one hair out of place like that.
Right.
Like, I have great hair. My hairline doesn't look like that. That's crazy. Like, that's insanity. He looks like a fucking maniac. I'm sorry.
And it's not just the hair, James. He's let people do things to his face. That's weird,
God.
too.
He looks plastic.
It's not okay.
I'm just starting from the top down. I never got past the hairline. It looks like one of those, like a doll thing that you get the hook and pull the hair through. Like, that's what it looks like up top. Like, he just popped it through his skull.
Yeah, he down to earth, maybe in his treatment to people, but not himself. Not in his treatment of himself.
No, not at all. No, fuck, man. So, apparently, when he met Stallone, his dad was with him. Yeah. And Stallone, I don't know, he probably had a little fear in him out of this. Angelo, I'd be scared of Angelo. Angelo told him that when he, met Stallone, he said, quote, "It's because of your movie that my son is a boxer. I don't know if I should thank you or kill you. He was an honor student in high school." How do you react to that if you're Stallone? I love these fucking old Italian immigrants. They're my favorite fucking people because they are insane. They will say anything to anybody at any time. I don't know what it is about Nazi occupation. Whatever the fuck goes through their heads, they're just like, I'm not going to fucking pull my punches for you.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, they have no fucking filter whatsoever. My grandmother was 92. She called the nurse a putain, told her to get out. Like, they don't have any filter whatsoever. Yeah. So Sly must have been, like, really confused by that. So Vinny says he doesn't really, understand later on he doesn't get what the allure of Rocky 1 was. And when you think about Rocky 1, think about it. He started out in the beginning, he's like losing his locker in the shittiest gym in Philadelphia.
Right.
He's losing his locker because he's like a, middle of the road fighter who's not really any good and, not expected to do anything. He's collecting money for some guy. Remember the guy in the passenger seat of his boss is making fun of him, calling his, I can't say it, but calling his girlfriend names, saying, why don't you take it to the zoo, Rock? And he can't fucking win. He's got no money. He's trying to talk to this chick who won't even fucking respond to him at all. His best friend is 30 years older than him, a raging alcoholic who just yells at him for no reason and says, "Why don't you go out with my sister? You don't need her. She's fucking stupid. Find somebody else." His life is terrible. And he only becomes something not that out of a pure stroke of luck. He didn't work his way up. He was doing terribly, and Apollo Creed said, "It's the 4th of July. America was discovered by an Italian. I'm going to fight an Italian." That's literally the scene in the movie. That's what Apollo Creed says. And so he's find me an Italian. Find me an Italian is what he's not an Italian. Find me an Italian. So they found him, and there you go. So Vinny says, "When I look back at Rocky 1 now, I say to myself, what did a 15-year-old kid see in this movie that made him want to be a fighter? Here's a guy that's taking a beating and can't put two syllables together, and yet I wanted to go out and do it." Thank you.
2 syllables together, and I wanted to be just like him.
Yeah, you don't. I could see wanting to go out and punch somebody, but not actually go be that profession. That sounds like a bad idea. So his father didn't like how seedy the boxing gyms were, because on the East Coast, they're all these old, they're fucking 100 years old, they're disgusting,
smell terrible.
They're moldy, and so Angelo went out and bought an old fucked up fire station in Cranston, an old decommissioned piece of shit fire station in Cranston for $16,000.
He Ghostbustered him.
So he Ghostbustered it, remodeled it himself.
Awesome.
And that's the other thing, these people can... Jesus Christ. My great-grandfather dug a wine cellar just by hand. He just dug a wine cellar by him. So he was which seems like you could do, but he was 80. He just dug a wine cellar. And we were like, how the fuck did you just dug that? That's not in the Bronx. Who digs? Anyway.
I don't think that's up to code. Fucking code. I'll give you code.
I'm a code. I put the wine. It's nice. Here, you have a sip. Very, very nice. Yeah.
How's that code?
There's a code for you. It's a beautiful code. It's so nice.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
So he called it Father and Son's Gym, and that's what it was. So there you go. Paul says of his first amateur fight, he said, I fought my first fight in Newport and got my ass kicked in front of Willie Pep by some muscle-bound white kid, but I kept fighting. That set the precedent for my life. So he keeps...
Vinny said?
That's what Vinny said, yeah. He lost his first. He ends up fighting about 110 amateur fights, which always fascinates me, some of these guys, how many fights they have. He fights about 110 amateur fights, wins about 100 of them, he says, so that's pretty good. I have a few here. This is like kind of I guess some of his big ones here, and there's a lot of losses in here, like a lot of international fighting I see here. One, I see he lost the American Amateur Boxing Federation Lightweight Championship tournament in the finals. He lost to a guy named Angel Herrera. These are all 3-round fights, by the way, all of them losing on points. None of these are knockouts or anything. They're amateur fights. He loses to a Yugoslavian named, what the fuck is that? Oh, my God. Krajujivac.
Yeah.
That's who he lost to. He lost to oh no, that's a place. That's not a person. He lost
in that.
Oh my
place.
God, the name is even worse than the place. Milivoje Ladubovic.
Milivoje is his first name?
Milivoje Ladubovic is his name.
Jesus Christ.
He lost to him. Then he lost to what? Milajavi? What the fuck? Milivoje? That's a great name. And then he fought. Is that Sergey? Probably. Sergey Michanik, a Russian. He lost to him on points. He lost to Vladimir Stepanov of, I don't even know what country that is. I don't recognize that
Russia,
flag.
Right?
One of the Russian countries. He lost to Angel Herrera of Cuba and Hartmut Kruger, an East German at the time, because this is 82 when the wall was still up, in Biloxi, Mississippi. And then finally also lost to Viktor Demyanenko, and a Soviet guy in some Soviet U.S. boxing meet. So a lot of losses in his amateur career kind of toward the end there, but all these international fights. He ends up going pro in 1983 after he loses to a bunch of guys with hard-to-pronounce names.
Yeah.
And his first fight is against Alfredo Rivera at the Sands Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City.
Oh, boy.
There we go. So not too far of a drive for him, too. Not bad. Alfredo Rivera comes into the fight here. By the way, it's his debut. So debut on debut. Not a big deal here. And this is a TKO in the 4th round for Vinny, and he wins his first fight. So next fight against Keith McCoy, also at the Sands in AC. It's his debut as well. So, I mean, everybody's new to this, goddammit.
Brand new sport.
Brand new for us all. Knockout in the 3rd round here these are 4-round fights, by the way. So knockout in the 3rd. And then, by the way, this is my favorite of all. Caesars Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City, on July 10th, 1983. He fights May 26th, June 30th, and July 10th. So he's trying to stack them up quick when he starts. He fights Patrick Dangerfield Jr. That's his name.
Do we know his dad?
I don't know if his father is Rodney or not, but he is Patrick Dangerfield. His nickname is Junior. He's not a junior, but his nickname is Junior. Oh. So I don't know if this is Rodney's kid getting the shit kicked out of him or what. Either way, though, he gets knocked out in the 2nd round, does Mr. Dangerfield, and 3-0 for Pazienza. Referee for that one, Frankie Cappuccino, of course. Of course. It's Frankie Cappuccino. Yeah. We've talked about old Frankie Cappuccino before. It's by my favorite of all time, favorite refereeno name. Refereeno, I just said. My favorite refereeno is Frank Cappuccino.
Italian referees are called referinos.
We got a refereeno. Bring in a refereeno. Bring him in.
That is fantastic.
Refereeno. Oh, God, that's amazing. So, August 16th, 1983, he fights Eddie Carberry. Carberry. This is at the Playboy Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. Carberry is 0-1 coming into the fight, and will finish his career 0-4.
Oh,
so
not great.
We're going to group the next 5 fights together. It's Eddie Carberry and then 4 other fights, and then I'll give you an amazing stat that you'll be shocked about. So he beats Eddie Carberry in the TKO in the second round here. Next fight is 2 weeks later, August 31st. Rafael Alicia, it's his debut fight here at the Sands Casino Hotel again. And he wins. Vinny does. Second round TKO again. See, second round TKO is his thing that he likes to do.
Yeah.
Then he fights, Jesus Christ, September 9th. So 10 days later, basically, he fights Ricardo Moreno. It's his debut as well. This is at Caesar's Palace in Vegas at the outdoor arena where they had WrestleMania 9 there, that whole fucking thing. So this is interesting here. So this is the big time he's feeling like. He wins this fight by TKO as well, making him up there. Now there's that. Next fight, he fights 2 weeks later again. Yeah. Every 2 weeks, man. He fights Jim Zielinski, who comes in 0-1 to the fight. So he's had one fight anyway. This is in Ice World at Totowa. Where did we find that was? Ice World. Can't remember. Was that in Florida or something? I don't remember. Either way. Totowa. Totowa.
No.
Fuck, I didn't write it down because I thought we'd remember that. And I don't. So this is another second round TKO for Vinny. So Vinny's rolling right now. He's like 7-0. He's fucking killing it. Then his next fight, the last of this bracket of 5, is the 27th of October, 1983. He fights Robert Stevenson, who comes into this fight 0-6-1. That's at the Sands in Atlantic City. This fight, a minute and 45 into it, Vinny knocks him out. So
fantastic.
Very quick.
Yeah.
Now, these last 5 opponents have one thing in common in their careers.
No wins.
Well, two things in common. One, they've all been beaten up by Vinny Pazienza. Yeah. The other, none of them ever have a career win.
Not
ever.
One.
They never, ever get one. First of all, none of them have a win coming into the fight, but none of them ever acquire one, ever.
Combined, they never won a fight ever.
Never, ever, ever won a fight. None of those fighters. So you can say tomato cans. This is more than tomato cans. This is
These are marshmallows.
This is like a cardboard cutout of a boxer that they put in the ring, and he knocked it down.
Teddy bears that he can just knock the stuffing out of.
They never won one fight. That's not good, man.
Nobody's ever had 5 fighters in a row that combined never ran a fight, right?
Not even one. They could have fought each other and won one. Right. Nothing. Like, I'm not saying you have to win against somebody huge, but hey,
none of
Jim
those guys
Zielinski
ever fought each other. That's true.
Hey, Jim Zielinski, go beat up Eddie Carberry and let's get it on. Someone's got to win, right?
Somebody's getting a win today.
Maybe that's what happened when Robert Stevenson got that draw, 0-6-1. Maybe he fought another guy with no wins, and neither of them could win.
He tried his best.
So on December 2nd of 83, in Warwick, Rhode Island, he fights Emilio Diaz, who is 6-14-1 coming into the fight. Not much better, but at least he's won some fights. This is a TKO in the third round for Vinny. So Vinny wins this one as well. Next fight here, he fights Jose Ortiz. This is 12 days later, by the way, December the 14th of 83 at the Ice World again. And Jose Ortiz is 6-32-6 coming into this fight.
6-32-6. How did he have 6 draws?
6 draws is a lot of fucking draws.
That's a lot.
Finishes his career 6-37-6. So not good. Just not good. Not a great fighter. He beats him TKO in the 6th round, Vinny does. So he's doing pretty well here, 9-0. Not too shabby at all.
Yeah.
Next up, he fights David Bell. This is February 26th, 1984, at the Civic Center in Beaumont. Texas, maybe?
Yeah.
It could be anywhere. Maybe Texas.
Could be Arkansas.
Could be Beaumont, Arkansas. We found from Indiana this week that you can't just hear the name of a city and know, because every other, by the whatever town you live in, whatever big city you live in, there's a town in Indiana called that. Just so you know that. we found that's an absolute fact. You live in Las Vegas, there's a Las Vegas, Indiana, I guarantee you. I assure you there's one.
And anything in Europe, there's a town in Georgia named after that, too.
Absolutely. We found Indiana has a fucking Montpelier. We didn't know that.
Fair.
I thought that was just Vermont. You're telling me you're throwing around Montpeliers in Indiana, too? No. No.
Reckless with the Montpelier.
Like you didn't know about the first one already, motherfucker? Right. You knew.
It's the goddamn capital, you sons of bitches.
You knew. Oh, man. So David Bell, 0-1 coming in, and he'll remain winless as Vinny beats him in a TKO in 4 rounds. What is this? April 15th, 1984, at the Sands in Atlantic City. He fights Mike Golden, 6-4 coming in. A winning record.
Hell yeah.
Wow, this is a first. This is a first fight with a fighter with a winning fucking record here. And he wins. This goes all 8 rounds, and Vinny wins a unanimous decision in that one.
Great.
Next up, in August of 84, so a few months go by now, he fights Rich McClain at the Sands in Atlantic City. And he's a 4-7-2 fighter, Rich McClain, and he beats him in a unanimous decision in 8 rounds. Vinny does. So Vinny's killing it here. Next up is in November of 1984 against Bruno Simili, who this is down in Mexico. Wow, interesting. Okay. Oh no, this one's in Italy. He goes to. I'm sorry.
Oh.
He goes all the way to Italy to fight this fight, and it's a 19-8-6 fighter. Bruno is so pretty good fighter.
Very good fighter.
At least he's won 19 fights. Vinny knocks a TKO in the 3rd round for Vinny. So another win for Vinny. Now, here is the one, December 1st, 1984. This is the one that he will protest and everything else because it really was kind of not fair here. So this is in Milan, Italy. He's fighting Abdelkader Marbi. Marbi. That's a hard name to say here. So he's headbutted. Vinny's headbutted in the 3rd round by Marbi. Marbi's from Morocco. And in the 5th, Vinny is bleeding everywhere.
Oh.
One thing we have to say about Vinny Pazienza, he is a fucking bleeder.
Really?
I mean, every fight he is fucking covered in blood. He's always bleeding. They keep always, he's got scar tissue. He's like Abdullah the Butcher at this point. He's got so much fucking scar tissue. You just hit it and it bleeds. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Up.
Yeah, yeah. He's like an old wrestler. He's like Dusty Rhodes' forehead. It's not good. So he gets headbutted and he gets a lot. He's like I said, he's always a bleeder and he never wants to stop because of blood. He just knows he's a bleeder and that's life with Vinny. So anyway, the fight is stopped because he's bleeding profusely. Vinny goes crazy. He says, "What the fuck? You can't stop this fucking fight. Oh, I'm fine. This is ridiculous." So the Pazienza posse, they say that they were told by the officials at ringside that the fight would be ruled a no contest since the cut didn't come from a punch. If the cut came from a punch, then the fight would be awarded to the guy
that punched him.
The guy that punched him. But if it's from a headbutt or an illegal act, they rule it a no contest, is the way they said they were going to do it. So they don't end up doing that, though. They end up awarding the fight to Marbi. And Vinny's fucking pissed because he's like, I kicked his fucking ass. He got one headbutt in and I was fine. I didn't even feel it. He just, cut me. Vinny says, and this is his words from a 1984 boxer, quote, "I rocked him. I had him on Queer Street."
What?
Which is what they used to always say that, and boxing announcers used to say that all the time when a guy was wobbly.
Queer Street?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what
that means.
I don't know either. People on Queer Street are wobbly. I have no idea what that means. It wasn't a gay slur. I know that. No, it wasn't a gay slur. It meant something. It meant something different. But it was
maybe he had him on the wrong street because he was wobbly and didn't know where he was. Is that what they mean?
So I don't know what the hell that means, but
sounds lovely.
It's a weird old boxing term. I'm not sure. Now the Italian Boxing Federation didn't alter the decision even after formal complaints and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So at this point, technically, Vinny has one loss, but he will not acknowledge that loss. He says that's not a loss. That's bullshit. I'm undefeated. Okay. Fuck him. So that's how that goes. So he's back in the States in Providence fighting, so home state, on February 5th, 1986, fighting Joe Frazier Jr.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Joe Frazier Jr. was
Joe
indeed.
Joe Frazier had a boy that fought?
Absolutely. Motherfucking yeah. I mean, this is like 15 years ago. His dad was fighting Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Now he's fighting Vinny Pazienza. And this fight, he's a smaller guy. Frazier was a heavyweight, for Christ's sake. I mean, a small heavyweight, but a heavyweight. This guy's 135, so a little bit different. Frazier Jr. is 15-2-3 coming into this fight. So 15 wins. Vinny knocks him out TKO in the 7th round. And apparently this one was, they said that Vinny was kind of toying with him a lot and shit like that. Yeah, he was, not even, he said Joe Frazier Jr. wasn't really in the fight, everybody said. And
I'd like to see Joe Frazier Jr. fight Layla.
There you go. Who's going to win?
If Vinny can toy with him, I feel like Layla could probably hold her own. She's
probably
a tough broad, man.
Especially because Joe Frazier Jr. is probably, he's in his 50s now, I would assume. So
she's probably pretty close to that, right?
She's probably, maybe she's probably in her 40s. So
I bet she's 44, 48, somewhere in there.
Joe Frazier Jr., we'll find out.
It's an even fight.
Find out how broken down he is at this point. So, he next fights in May 18th, 1986 at the Civic Center in Providence. He fights Harry Arroyo here. Now, Arroyo, by the way, used to be a police officer and has now been a boxer for a while. And Arroyo's 29-2 coming into this fight.
Holy shit.
Very good fighter, but before the fight... Vinny hands him a whistle, and he said, "You're going to need this when you have to go be a cop again when I'm done kicking your ass."
I'm going to send you back to work.
So he literally handed him a fucking whistle and was like, "Keep that for later, motherfucker."
Hilarious.
Which is pretty goddamn funny. The fight went all 10 rounds, but unanimous decision win for Vinny. So I don't know if this guy took the whistle and put it to use or what, but I guess it's better than him handing him a gun in the ring.
Yeah.
Here you go, pal. Take this with you. Everybody ducks down. Next off, in September, he fights Nelson Bolanos. Now, Bolanos is a hell of a good fighter here. Bolanos is 31-0-3, so he has no losses here. This is impressive. So he ends up during this, he's fucking around. I guess he has a pretty easy time with Bolanos. It's a TKO in the 6th round, so not much of a fight, but he fucks around at one point, and he steps on Bolanos' foot and then pushes him. So he falls down on his ass and knocks him down on his ass.
Yeah.
And then turned and looked like, "What are you doing? I don't know what you're talking about."
What happened?
Like, did like a little kid thing. And later on they said, "Why'd you do that?" And he said, "When I fight, I want to make people smile." And then he said afterwards that he said he thought Bolanos was going to be a tougher fight. He said, quote, I knew if I saw his legs go like spaghetti, I was going to be all over him like the sauce. Jesus, Vinny.
You don't have to do that.
Could you be more of a stereotype? He's one of these fighters he's one of these guys. Italians have 2 separate camps that we have. We have this guy that wears like the fucking horn, and they have an Italian flag in their garage, and they have
there's red and green all over their house.
And then they have the other kind who you don't even know they're Italian, and they just like either they family changed the name and they they don't eat sauce on Sunday, or they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just pretend they're not. Those are the 2 different kinds. I found out someone was Italian that I watched him my entire life growing up. Had never a clue that he was was in the public eye like you wouldn't believe, hosted Saturday Night Live, never once had it mentioned that he was Italian. You know who that is?
No.
Joe Montana. Do you know he was Italian, Jimmy?
Joe Montana's I guess
it makes sense. Fucking idea. He's half Sicilian. His father's Northern Italian. Their name was Montani, which if his name was Montani, you'd know he's Italian. For some reason, you put an A on it. Now he sounds like a rugged Westerner. Now he sounds like he's John Wayne. And he has like the light brown hair and light eyes, so nobody knew he's fucking Italian. I didn't know.
That Italian knows. I guess it makes sense.
No one knew. He fucking skated on that shit. Yeah. Like, no, he didn't have to take anything for that. Like, he didn't have to know jokes, nothing. He didn't have to take any fucking incoming for that whatsoever.
He took no shit for that.
Not one drop of shit he took for that. So Yeah, I don't like that at all. But I was to the point where if I don't know you're Italian, you're hiding it. I'm sorry. Like if I don't know it, you're hiding it because I'm looking for it. So anyway,
Joe, I mean, he doesn't even sound. Even when he talks, it doesn't sound ethnic at all.
He's not.
Yeah,
he's trying not to be. That's the point. And no one else said he was. He's like, fine.
He sweats more with that than he does on the football field, for Pete's sake. Puts in more effort to not be that.
Oh, my God.
Very funny.
So it's funny. So anyway, he says Vinny doesn't hide it at all is what I'm getting at. He's like, hey, I'm going to be all over him like the sauce. All right, then. You just have a good one.
See his knees go like spaghetti.
You fellas have a good day. I'm going to go back in here. All right.
Yeah.
So he says he liked this fight. He would stick his chin out and all that shit. And he said, quote, I am fun to watch. See the chin is there. Whoops, now it's not. It gets pretty aggravating to fight me. Okay. He said, I'm having fun because nothing is more fun than winning. Although it's not a bad feeling when the check clears either. Yeah. So, yeah, I would say so.
Pretty good day.
He said, I feel like a kid fighting for his next meal while people are holding my mother for ransom if I lose. So that's the mindset he's trying to get himself in. They do some kind of profiles about him now because he's starting to get some steam, and he's this flashy fighter that fights on TV, and he's very recognizable. One article talks about he has 50 pairs of sunglasses.
Okay.
One of the things he's been collecting. And they said, Vinny, why do you have 50 pairs of sunglasses? He says, quote, because there are many shades to Vinny Paz.
Oh, Vinny.
Vinny. Oh, yeah. Vinny.
50 shades? Is there?
50. There's, 50 pairs. He says many shades. So he was the original, I guess. Yeah. He still lives at home.
He's with mom and dad?
Like at home with his parents.
In his 30s, right?
He's a prize fighter. He's making hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's 24 at this point, but he's like he's a professional fucking fighter. He's a prize fighter. He's he's got main events. He's fighting at Caesar's Palace, for Christ's sake. He lives with his parents.
God damn it.
What the fuck are you doing? Rent an apartment, something. And he says, they said, well, they do this article. He's at his house with his parents and everything. And they said, well, when are you going to get your own place? And Angelo yells from somewhere else, from some other room. They're always listening to these old guineas. Angelo yells, quote, where's he going to find a better place? People don't leave good things. That's what he said. God, Jesus Christ. Oh, I know what this house smells like, man. I can see right down to the plastic on the furniture. I can feel it. I feel it.
Where's he going to find? I'm sure there's a real estate market, Pop.
People don't leave good things, Jimmy. Where's he going to find a better place? Well, there's lots of but people don't leave good things. This one's already good. He said, quote, my kids don't believe the grass is greener. And by the way, his sister, he's got an older sister who's 7-8 years older than him. She lives in the basement too. So
she's there too.
She also lives in the house.
Damn it.
They keep him there and they like him there. So yeah, he said at this point that he likes to run in the cemetery near his house. That's because it's peaceful to run in there. And I think that's what he likes to do. His cousin Sal, who's also a barber, I think it's Sal's son Sal, who's a barber. Sal the barber, he says, quote, we don't have anything in Rhode Island. I can't think of anything that happened here in the past 25 years except Vinny. Oh, yeah, the America's Cup, but we lost it. We haven't lost Vinny. So we got Vinny over here. All right. Okay. You're looking a little shaggy on the sides. You want to sit down in a chair? Nah, 15 minutes. We'll get you in and out of here. Come on. Get the fuck out of here. Sit down. So he drives like a psychopath, by the way.
Vinny does?
Drives like a maniac. Boxers drive like maniacs because they're not afraid of things that most people are afraid of.
Sure.
If you said, I'm going to take you somewhere, if I said, Jimmy, let's go in here, I'm going to punch you in the face for an hour, you'd say, no, thanks. Whereas they're like, well, you get punched in the face for an hour. I feel like that you would lose physical fear of a lot of things if you'll fight a, large man who's trying to fucking murder you with his punches all the time.
And the punishment, I don't know, the consequences of getting in a car accident is that you hit your face on something.
That's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. I've done that a lot.
boxers definitely have that invincibility thing to them where they feel like they're invincible a lot, especially a young boxer.
Sure.
Especially a young boxer who hasn't been beaten. You're going to think you can't be hurt.
Yeah.
You can't. King shit a fuck mountain. You can't be hurt. And I think that's where Vinny's coming off at this point. He has a BMW that he calls the Pazmobile.
Okay.
He has a license plate that reads Pazman. He's really embracing this whole thing. I'm telling you, man. They have they had in the newspaper, they had this like map of New England, and it showed, all the states and their states. And then in Rhode Island, it said the state of Pazmania over it. So, yeah.
It's the smallest one. You could probably just do that, and it doesn't matter.
They got nothing else, so why not? He says he's going to fight a guy named Greg Haugen next, this is supposed to be a really big fight coming up, and this is like kind of the fight that they're going to see if he's for real, one of these fights. And Vinny says, quote, after I beat Haugen, I'll fight Rosario. Then I'll fight the winner of Camacho Mancini, then Rosario for the junior welter title, then Hagler, then Holmes, then Reagan.
Wow. Wait, what?
He
doesn't
said,
box. He's going to be real surprised when you show up.
And Larry Holmes weighs 100 pounds more than him, so he's going to be surprised when you show up for that, too. So he's saying he's going to fight this, then he's going to beat Rosario. He's going to move up in weight then, one class, and beat Rosario for the junior welter, which I think is 141 or 140. Yeah. And then Hagler, which is the next weight class up. He's saying, that's not next, it's middleweight. So then I'm going to be a middleweight, which is 25 pounds heavier than that. Then Larry Holmes, who's 250 and the champ at the time. Then the president of the United States. I'm going to fight them all.
And all of his Secret Service.
So he's got a lot of plans. I'm going to go from Larry Holmes to an 80-year-old man with Alzheimer's disease. I'm going to go from one to the other, and I'm going to it's going to be big. So if I'm Reagan, I'm scared. So Lou Duva is his manager, by the way.
Really?
Remember Lou Duva, the white hair? You've seen him. He was Holyfield's trainer. So if you've seen a Holyfield fight, he's the white hair guy going, oh, Vandy, you got to do this and that, you fucking bum. He's that guinea in the corner. Yep. So Lou Duva says, quote, my biggest concern is not his talent. He might be a hell of a fighter, but the one thing he likes to do more than box is entertain. He loves to entertain. He says, you don't get hurt. Oh, that's it. He doesn't listen to his trainer. He doesn't listen to Duva because he's a pain in the ass. He said that Duva told him not to lift weights. So he said Pazienza's in the gym lifting weights right away because he told him not to. He said to him, Vinny said, quote, you don't get hurt lifting. You get hurt dropping them on your feet. So I'm going to lift them. Now, before this Haugen fight, Haugen said, quote, I can't see myself leaving that ring without my belt. This is at the press conference because he's the champ. And Pazienza said, better bring suspenders then. So
because I'm going to take it.
I'm going to take it. Then Haugen called him, he said, quote, Vinny's nothing but a pizza-faced punk.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, well, boxing is a weird hinterland where ethnic slurs are perfectly okay. It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand why. It's always been like that, and somehow it still is. It's like, I guess ethnic slurs, okay, let's make a rule. Ethnic slurs are allowed in situations where the other guy is going to be legally allowed to punch you in the face for an hour afterwards. I think that's the only time it's acceptable. Because it's like, well, he called him that. Oh, what are we going to do? Well, he's going to fight him, so I guess he can fight him if he wants to.
The guy called that gets the opportunity to rectify the situation, so let it be.
So nobody gets mad because there's no consequence greater than fighting about it. So that's what's going to happen. So, well, we'll see once he gets fighting going, and we'll see how that works.
We'll see who's right.
Yeah.
Give it a minute.
Oh, man. Pazienza, the fight had to be delayed, by the way, because Pazienza broke his nose while sparring. By the way, this was like 2 days after Duva told him not to spar anymore for the fight. So Duva was pissed.
Well, you only get hurt, James, if you get punched. So as long as I don't get punched, it'll be all right.
Haugen said that he'll definitely be going after his nose, saying, quote, it's like a big pizza on the middle of his face. He just won't stop saying, and everything he says about Vinny, it's all, there's something to do with pizza or spaghetti or something. Like he's just, It's very cheap.
And a big Italian nose reference, too.
Yeah, but not even a big Italian nose. A big pizza is his big Italian pizza nose. You know how those are. He's got a big veal cutlet Parmesan hanging off his fucking nose, you know.
Right there between his eyes, right above his mouth.
You know how it is. One of those. It's hanging down like a fucking hot sausage that came off of out of my Sunday fucking gravy, huh? You know what I'm talking about. So, anyway, he said that doesn't matter. He says, Vinny says he's not scared about the broken nose at all. He goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, I'm not worried about it. He said that, quote, it isn't bothering me, but I don't really care about the nose anyway. He's going to have to do a lot more to stop me than hit me in the nose. I wanted to keep the fight for May 24th. Now I'm glad they did, but a broken nose can't stop me for now. I'm a fighter. So he doesn't give a shit about that. He says that Lou Duva, by the way, getting ready for this fight, they're training at the firehouse for this fight. He's training at his dad's gym at the firehouse, not doing anything fancy. And this place is not fancy. They interview Lou Duva, and he says, quote, I'm supposed to be a big shot in boxing. Manager of the year in 1985, all these Olympic boxers, and I'm sleeping in a gym. That's about how big I am. But it was Vinny's idea. He thought it would be good for us all to stay together for this fight. It's good, really. It keeps him away from all the people so he can concentrate on the fight. But being here is like living in an Italian commercial. Anthony, oh, Anthony. That's the old spaghetti commercial. They're screaming for the kid running down the street. We get up every morning and go down to Marie's Galaxy Luncheonette for breakfast. Kenny Weldon is up here helping me work with Vinny, and the waitress comes over and asked him if he wants Italian toast. He said, Lou, what's Italian toast? I told him it ain't Caesar's, but it's just fine. It's fine. But this is actually pretty good food. Vinny gave me his suite. I got the stationary cot. I'm in the fire chief's room. So that's what's going on here. A bunch of guineas holed up in a fire station.
Eating at a diner.
Eating at a fucking diner constantly with some guy from Texas, because that's where that other guy is from, asking, not knowing what anything is. So they're going to the Civic Center. That's where it is, the Civic Center here, and I think it's Providence. And he says that he used to fight in the cellar there. He said, quote, it started for me in the cellar here 10 years ago. I was boxing an amateur fight in the cellar of the Civic Center. I wondered if one day I'd be the main man in the main arena. I wondered if I'd ever get into the lobby. Sunday, it's finally going to happen. So he's finally got like the main event in his home. This is a headline in your home club here finally.
Oh, yeah.
After you've opened there 100 times. He said, quote, I'm the only pro sports team we have here. I'm the Vinny Pazienza franchise. Everybody wants to get behind a winner, and that's what I am. We all love the Celtics and Red Sox, but they're from Boston. I'm Rhode Island. It's a good feeling for the whole state to have a world championship fight right here. He says, the crowd makes me fight better. If I don't have that intensity, that feeling of making thousands of people happy, I can't perform. When the crowd gets going, I get into it more, but I don't lose my head.
Okay.
So he fights. This is June 7th. It ends up being delayed until it originally gets delayed 6 weeks and then another 2 weeks. So June 7th, 87, Civic Center in Providence. Greg Haugen, who's 19-0 coming in here. This is still, by the way, when championship fights were 15 rounders.
Wow.
Yeah, this is for Greg Haugen's International Boxing Federation, IBC World Lightweight title. So here we go.
I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
That's 15 fucking rounds. That's wild. This fight, he does a pretty good job of controlling it, by the way. Vinny does. Goes all 15 rounds.
Oh, dear fuck.
All with a broken nose. All 15 rounds. And Vinny wins a unanimous decision.
How about that?
And wins the title and is very happy. He's thrilled.
Sleeps for 2 months.
Sleeps for 2 months and nothing but pasta and sleep and fucking, just sauce dripping down his chin. I'm going to say this, grace. This is grace right here. Yeah. He's technically he has one loss, but in reality, he's undefeated. And, he's won his belt, and it's great for him. So
in the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
So then a few months later, was it 8 months later, February 6th, 88, it's the Convention Center in Atlantic City. He fights Greg Haugen again here, and this time it goes all 15 again.
Oh, dear Lord.
In the rematch, this time he loses a unanimous decision.
Oh, no.
So it gives the belt back. So there's that, which that happens with good fights. Now you got a rubber match. Two that went the distance. Now you got a money match. Yep. So in 80-80, as he tries a bunch of different things here, he fights Felix Dubray. This is when he tries to go up to the junior welterweight division, so moving up a few pounds here. June 27th, 1988, in Providence at the Civic Center again, he fights Felix Dubray, who's 13-1 coming in. And this fight, 4th round TKO for Vinny. So good job for him. Then he fights in October it's at the Park West in Chicago. Holy shit!
Oh, we've played there.
We played there. Okay, we did. That was
fought there.
That was our mid-range venue. There was a great venue. If they had 300 more seats, we'd have never stopped going there. But it was beautiful. The guy got me weed and everything. I love that place. And then
30 years ago, Vinny fought there.
Vinny was fighting there before us. So there was still some Vinny blood on the floor because he was bleeding. And 18-12 for Rich Kaiser coming into the fight. TKO in the 3rd round for Vinny here. So kind of building himself back up. Then he fights WBC world champ Roger Mayweather. The Black Mamba is his nickname, pre-Kobe. So Roger's 33-5 coming into this fight. Mills Lane is the ref. It's at Caesar's Palace. This is a big fight here. This fight goes all 12. Now we're down to the 12-round championship fights. This fight goes all 12 rounds. Unanimous decision loss for Vinny here. So he loses this fight and looks like by the cards pretty good too. 117, 110, 117, 110. So he got his ass whooped pretty good here. And so he loses that fight. Next fight he fights is 1989, about 5 months later. He fights Jake Carollo, who at the Trump Plaza Hotel in Atlantic City. Jake's 11-1 coming in, and Vinny gives him a nice TKO in the 2nd round.
All right.
Get some of his steam back here. Now, he's always cut, and they start asking him about this all the time now. And he says that Lou Duva gives an answer. He said, cuts, pain, they don't bother Vinny. Vinny's oblivious to pain. Sure, he's had his share of cuts, but no doctor or referee has come close to stopping fights because of them, except for the one that got stopped because of it. Right. I added that myself, but it did. So nothing from a legal action anyway. Next up at the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City again on June 11th, 1989, he fights Vinny Borghese. Oh, hell yeah. Look at this. A couple of gins beating each other up in the ring. It's like the 40s in here. Look at this. Vinny's 16-1 coming in. And they're going to fight over whose mother's got the better sauce. You son of a... No, she doesn't. Oh, your mother puts what in the fucking... Get the fuck out of here with a bay leaf. I'm going to shove it up your ass. And they start beating each other's asses over it. Kicking each other's fucking dicks in over.
Bay leaves are great.
Not in sauce, though. They don't belong in that.
Basil leaves are great in sauce.
Basil
right?
is great. Yeah, basil is wonderful. Fresh basil. You don't want to put a bay leaf in there. It's not a soup. So, anyway, it's just the first thing that popped into my head. So, anyway, this fight goes all 10 rounds. Or, no, I'm sorry. In the 10th round, Vinny gets a TKO over Vinny. Vinny beats Vinny in the 10th.
Vinny violence.
Vinny on Vinny violence is so bad. It happens so often. So, 1989 in November, the 27th, Eddie Van Kirk is his next fight at the Civic Center in Providence. And he wins this fight in the 5th round with a TKO as well. Next up, big fight. Convention Hall, Atlantic City. Hector Macho Camacho. Now, this is just an entertaining fight to look at. Just the visuals here. They're both like colorful. They're both fucking crazy. This is a fun fight to watch. Camacho Pazienza. Camacho will have his own episode, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely have his own episode coming up here. This is for the WBO World Super Lightweight title. This is, so this fight goes all 12 rounds.
Oh, boy.
And Vinny loses a unanimous decision. Camacho was 36-0 coming into this fight, by the way.
Wait.
He was
like
nasty.
Height of his
yeah, he was nasty at this point in time, real nasty. So now he's talking about a future fight that he wants against Laredo Garza is who he wants to fight pretty bad here. And he says, quote, "It's come to the point where I feel every time I step in the ring, my career is on the line. I need wins desperately. I know the sky's the limit again for me if I win. If I lose, I don't know what avenues I'll take. If I win Garza's title, I can secure my future plans. A lot of doors are wide open for me in and out of the ring, but if I don't win, it'll be like walking into a closet."
Oh.
A closet? I just thought he was going to say off a cliff or something. Yeah. You can come out of a closet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's
not
only
the end
one
of the
way
world.
out. There's only one door to open.
That's true. You're trapped. Someone closes it. You're in trouble. Yeah. He said, "People forget that when I started out, I was a mover, a flashy boxer, but the knockouts started coming and I got away from that. I can still knock guys out, but I'm back to a lot of movement. Speed, flash, I'm back to my old style. There's no way I should lose if I box."
Okay.
So he gets another rematch. This is the rubber match against Greg Haugen now. Yeah. So third fight against Haugen, and this is in Atlantic City. And this fight goes all 10 rounds because neither of them have a belt at this point. So it goes all 10 rounds. This time, Vinny wins a unanimous decision again.
Oh, shit.
And closes the Greg Haugen chapter of his career. Next up, for the WBA World Super Lightweight title, this is on December 1st, 1990. He fights Laredo Garza. And this is the fight he's talking about. 27-1-1 for Garza coming into this one. This fight here, he loses it in the 11th round on a DQ. I don't know what the fuck happened on that one for some reason, but
kicked him.
Lost it on a goddamn DQ. Maybe he stepped on his foot and shoved him down.
Yeah.
I'm not sure here. So that doesn't look great for him. That was at the Arco Arena in Sacramento too, like the basketball arena, the big fucking place.
He's got to be furious about it.
Oh, I'm sure. Next fight here. No, this is July 2nd, 1991. Ron Amundsen, who is known as the Stormin' Mormon. Amundsen.
I've heard that, I think.
It was Sean Bradley's nickname, the old
that's
7'6" basketball player. Yeah, he was the Storm. Any Mormon who plays sports, they call him the Stormin' Mormon. It's just the way it is. There's nothing else rhymes with it. The Borin Mormon.
Yeah,
that's something. So
I got nothing. It's all boring.
It's tough. It's tough. This is at the Civic Center in Providence. The Stormin' Mormon is 24-1 coming in, so 20 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. This fight goes the distance of 12 rounds. It's for the USBA Super Welterweight title. They're fighting at 154 now, by the way. He's moved up in weight big time. So this fight, all 12 rounds, unanimous decision for Vincenz. So here we go.
Oh, he wins.
He wins. Now, next fight, he has a very tough fight with Gilbert Dele. He's 29-0-1 coming in, Gilbert. So this is a big fight. This is October 1st, 1991 at the Civic Center in Providence. And he says, in the way Paz puts it, quote, I didn't think, and during the 7th round, he said this was his toughest fight, and he actually thought about quitting in the 7th round.
Really?
He said, I didn't think there was any way I could continue. He kept pressing me. He was as strong as an ox. In that split second, that thought went through my mind. I said, Vinny Paz, you die in this ring if you have to before you quit. So he said that he ended up coming back and then gets a TKO in the 12th round to win the title from Dele. So there you go. And he said it meant a lot. He said, quote, I could feel the people behind me were losing faith in me. They had felt I had better days. Mayweather, the other one, Roger, not Floyd, and the second Greg Haugen fight, where he lost, were my worst fights. A lot of it had to do with not having a regular trainer. He said, after Mayweather, Dan Duva came to me with a list of trainers and told me to pick one or retire. So get a trainer or don't fucking bother anymore. Angelo Dundee's name was on the list. That's Ali's old guy. So was Eddie Futch. But I picked Kevin Rooney, who was Tyson's original guy. Right. It's, Customato's guy. I figured he'd try to make me a banger like Tyson, but he didn't. So he was happy with that. So let's let him just explain it. Let's do it in their own words. What do you say? Let's let Vinny tell what he thinks here with a little something. Let's do, in their own words, quote, before Haugen 3, everybody had me dead and buried. They had me banging on top of my coffin from the inside. It's ridiculous. Sometimes I feel older than 27. More and more, I feel like I'm only in it for the excitement I give to other people. In this business, you have your ups and downs. I've felt on top of the mountain and at the bottom of a valley. There are times I hate boxing. The pain, the loneliness, the sacrifices. It's kind of funny. I got into this because I went to the movie Rocky. It pumped me up. Now when I look at that damn movie, I don't know what made me do it. The guy takes a beating every fight and can't put two syllables together. Yes. There you go.
He's poetic. I love this and I hate this.
I hate this. He's not an idiot, no matter how much he gets punched in the head. Then he says later on, too, he says, quote, I was better at sleeping with girls than gambling, that's for sure. Oh. He's a huge gambler, by the way. Huge. Pisses tons of money away gambling. I mean, he's a big-time casino gambler and loses his ass.
That's what happens, James, when you fight at the casino and you're given a very large check.
And they'll offer to pay you in credit,
chips,
too.
Sure.
They'll pay you in chips. So he said, better at sleeping with girls than gambling. Quote, around half were playmates, strippers, and porn stars. He said that he blamed one of his losses on his sex drive, saying, quote, I took 3 porn stars to the fight, which probably wasn't a good idea.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ.
And so he ran through them before the fight?
I think so, is what he's getting
crazy.
You can't do that. He said he would either sometimes he would abstain from sex, but if he was fucking before fights, then he would have like, quote, 9 cappuccinos to get me good and pissed off, he said. So
I couldn't sleep with one porn star and then pull my weeds the next day. How does he do? This guy's got to go fight
3,
after
and then he's
3.
like, now I'm going to kick your ass. How? Why?
No. What would be your interest in fighting at that point?
I think you'd feel too loose.
Yeah. And too goddamn tired.
So here's when real bad stuff happens. In 1991 in January here, Vinny, there's a problem in Rhode Island. The Rhode Island Central Credit Union shuts down. Something that has to do with the governor. The credit unions and banks were closed by the governor at one point. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but I don't know. I didn't want to. Honestly, Vinny Pazienza is too much of a oyster here to have. I can't be fucking going into other rabbit holes on this. So
okay.
Somehow in 1991, the governor of Rhode Island apparently had a bunch of banks shuttered, credit unions and all these banks in Rhode Island, and Vinny had his money in there.
Yeah.
So his mother, Louise, said, quote, Vinny's worked so hard. He put so much into it. And she makes a,
they're closed.
So, he had $300,000 in the Rhode Island Central Credit Union.
Wow.
And $175,000 of that money was his pension. That was his money. He knew that shit. So he was like, okay, I got that. He thought that was safe, and he thought it was safe. And then the word came out that that credit unions and banks were closed by the governor. But Pazienza said he told himself, quote, it's not going to be my bank. My bank's safe. Rhode Island Central isn't going to be one of them. And then his bank shut down.
Yeah.
His mother said, quote, Vinny was mortified. Pazienza went down to the credit union, and I guess there was thousands of other people there, too, real pissed off that their money was inside. They told him nothing you could do about it. All of his money was frozen. Couldn't have his money. So Louise said, quote, we all heard so many different stories. Vinny was afraid he was going to lose it all. His lawyer tells him not to worry, but you have to worry. He said, it's a disaster. And Vinny said, quote, they say they're going to send out a check a month, maybe $200, maybe $500. Nobody seems to know for sure. It was supposed to start last week. There's been no checks yet.
So you get a check and then you can't do anything with it because it's a fucking check.
Well, I need a bank account now.
Right.
So, he says he doesn't know how much of his money he'll get back, when he'll get it back. He says it might take years. He doesn't fucking know.
Wow.
He says he's going to have to do some other stuff, too. He's going to try commentating on boxing also. He says, maybe he wants to try to be an Olympic commentator next year, get on that commentary. He says, though, but he's going to have to box more because he has to, because he needs the money. He says he's getting money for something. He did some commentary, and they asked his mother. His mother said, where's he going to deposit it when he gets the check? That's what she said, too. She said, where's he going to put it? Quote, in the mattress? But you can't even put it under a mattress these days because that's what everybody's doing, and that's where all the thieves are going to be looking for it. So even the mattress isn't safe. Right. God, Jesus, that's exhausting. Ma, okay, I won't put it in the fucking mattress then. That's the you just told me 4 fucking times.
Yeah.
I get it.
You told me how the drywall gets cut open. That's what you just told me.
Damn it. 1992 during this whole that happens later on. Later on in 92 he's going to have to give up his title, and we'll talk about why. November 12th, 1991. Things aren't going great for Vinny here.
No.
He's lost his fight. He lost his money. November 12th, 1991. He is driving with his friend here, and they're going about 40 miles an hour. And what ends up happening, I guess it's slippery, and he is involved. He's a passenger in his friend's car. It's a Camaro, and he's involved in a head-on collision.
Oh, no.
In Warwick, Rhode Island. So the driver of the car he's in suffers a head injury, and the driver of the oncoming car suffered only minor injuries. Vinny, though, breaks his neck.
Yeah.
His neck is broken. He ends up suing both drivers. He's awarded $926,000 later on. The driver driving Vinny's car, the car Vinny was in, was solely responsible for the accident, they found.
Oh, you dick.
He was supposed to fight January 10th for a title fight. He had to give up his title for this. He ended up doctors told him he's probably not going to be able to walk again.
Yeah, fuck fighting. This is going to cause real damage.
Had to wear a halo, the whole deal.
Man.
Oh, yeah. Metal fucking screws into his skull.
Yeah.
And you can see to this day.
You got to move your hips to look around like a hoot owl.
It's fucking scary, man. He tried to do all this shit here. He said it was a midday workout. His friend was driving him home, said they were going like 50 miles an hour. He said they were cut off and their car skidded into oncoming traffic, and he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Oh, Vinny.
He's invincible. So he held on for dear life, he said. He said, quote, my last thought was I'm never going to be able to defend my world title. That's his last thought.
Wow.
He said a truck narrowly avoided them, and then a big town car hit us, and that was it. Whiplash. Yeah, I've been there. That fucking sucks. And his head popped off and rolled down the street, down this double yellow. The jaws of life were used to cut him out of the wreckage, and he had to be stabilized, put him on a stretcher, taken away in the ambulance, and all that sort of thing. They wheeled the driver of the other vehicle over toward his ambulance, and he was pissed off at them.
Yeah.
So he's there. This is from somebody that was near there. He said, quote, he's saying those kids had to be drinking. You better check those kids, broken neck and all.
Calm down, sir. I can't lift my neck.
He was all pissed off. The EMT said, I put my foot on top of his stretcher and said, he's not coming here. Get this fucking guy out of here. And finally, they put my friend with me. That's one of the other guys. So they told him that he's never going to be able to fight again. That seems pretty obvious. Yeah. They were worried he might not be able to walk again. He cracked 2 vertebrae, and a third was very close to his spinal column.
Yeah, that's the other part with these injuries like that. Like if they stabilize you fucked up, they could permanently damage shit.
Oh, it's a neck. It's a neck.
Giving you help could permanently make you never be able to walk again.
Fuck you up all sorts of ways here. He was in the hospital for weeks, and then he was brought home. He had to be in a hospital bed in his parents' house and have, people helping him and all that. And he said he's looking at this halo and shit. And he said, quote, I said I got to do something. I can't just stay like this. So,
oh my God.
4 days later, after he's decided this, he's home alone. He snuck down into the basement and started lifting weights.
What?
He said, I quote, I put my hand on 2 30-pound dumbbells. I'm taking deep breaths. I can do this. Gonna do this. I lift them up. He said it hurt he said he screamed. He said, I immediately dropped them. Pain shot through my body. My head started pounding around the screws.
Yeah.
He said he sat down for about 10 more minutes and then started looking at the weights again.
Oh, no, Vinny. You're going to rip the fucking bolts out of your face.
He said, I get back up and I grab the 25-pound ones and I lift them.
A little lighter.
We'll go 5 pounds. Maybe it's the weight itself. Maybe it's just that 5 pounds that makes a difference.
Can you flex your arms? No. You know what I mean? That flex your chest and that will move a halo. Oh, my God.
It's terrible. So he said, he screams. He said, quote, I throw him over my shoulder and start doing shoulder presses with them, and that was it. I sucked up the pain.
Wow.
So this is fucking crazy.
Vinny's my hero, James. That makes that gives my temples I have such a headache right now.
Before you go with he's my kind of guy, hold on again, because we haven't gotten to the first part of the story is a crazy boxer, inspirational, uplifting, and then it's just all fuckery from there. I mean, this guy gets on a toboggan like Clark Griswold and flies down the hill. So he was doing this when everybody was out of the house. Yeah. So eventually,
yelled at him.
Eventually his mom caught him. Like he was fucking jerking off down there or something. He said, quote, she started washing my clothes and they were sweaty and they were wet. And she says, she figured out what he was doing.
Yeah.
And she said, Vinny, you could be paralyzed. Are you out of your mind? Oh, God, I know. Yes, I know I could be paralyzed. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks.
You're going to get hairy palms. Stop this.
You're going to get hairy palms. Vinny! Ma, I've had enough.
It's not bad that you're almost paralyzed. You're going to go blind.
Okay. We need to have Vinny's mom as one of our characters. Vinny's mom coming over to nag somebody is going to be Louise Pazienza is going to be my favorite fucking character that we have, I think.
All kinds of cliches about growing up.
How is it you come to arrive here? You're a mess. Look at you. Clean this place up. Let me help you. Are you hungry? Let me get you. Sit down. What are you doing? Oh, my God. This is terrible. That girl's a hooah. What's wrong with you? She only wants you for your money. Oh, my.
Don't trust the banks.
Yeah. Don't trust banks. Put it in your mattress. But then you can't put it there either because there's thieves everywhere. I don't know what to do with it. Bury it under the house. I don't know. But then don't draw a map because you never know. They'll find the map when they break in to steal your money under the mattress. So I don't know where to. And then finally the guy goes, all right, Ma, Jesus Christ. And poof. In a cloud of ricotta pie, she disappears.
Ricotta pie and rosaries.
Ricotta pie and rosaries. She disappears. That is absolutely one of our characters
fantastic.
Now. She is going to be my favorite here.
That's why Italians drop dead of heart attacks. It's not because they stuff themselves full of
no, we
sausage.
Eat good food.
It's the stress.
It's stress. It's constant. It's constant.
It's the Catholic guilt and overbearing mothers.
Our own families. All right. Jesus Christ. It's the best when you get, like when you're a kid and you have like, you go over to like a Jewish kid's house or a Jewish kid comes over to your house and they go, oh my God, it's exactly the same. We freak out because we're like, his house is like, your house is just like mine, except you have better food and there's more violence. And I'm like, yeah, your house is just like mine, except the food sucks and nobody hits you. It's great. So
we used to go to my friend Adam's house for like 10 or 15 minutes. That's all we could be there for because his parents were yelling at each other and us, and they weren't even our parents.
Oh, they yell at everybody. Oh, yeah, they'll threaten to hit you. They don't care.
Yeah.
You're in my house. I'll hit anything in my house, God damn it.
They call me names. I'm like, I barely know yours.
I'm telling you, dude. It's a wild fucking way to grow up. It really is. It's wild. So, Vinny, his friends start taking him out to the gym sneaking him out. And he went to the doctor for x-rays and they looked good. And the doctor said, just keep doing whatever you're doing. You're looking good, making good progress. So he started lifting more weights.
Wow.
And heavier weights.
You're an anomaly. I can't believe how well you're healing and your muscles are getting bigger just from the halo. Yeah,
just keep doing that. Your mom's pasta must be magical. I don't know. Keep going on. So on Valentine's Day, a couple months later, the halo is finally taken off. And he said that he didn't want a pain-killing injection for it. He said, quote, I've probably had 1,000 stitches in my face, but this was the most pain I've ever had.
He got it. Oh,
he didn't even get
God.
the local. They just give you a local to numb it, like a Novocaine shot. And he said,
they're
nope,
literally backing screws out of your face.
Unscrew things from my skull. They're screwed into your skull. And he was like, nah, just do that. Just don't numb it. Just unscrew it from my skull like a fucking psychopath.
They took pins out of my hand when I blew up my hand while I was awake, and they were like, say when it hurts. I was just screaming, it hurt, and they just kept pulling. James, these pins are not long. These are not threaded fucking screws. They don't take a socket wrench to get
they didn't use power tools to get it out. And it wasn't in your skull.
They didn't scream, give me the 7/16 to get this out of this guy's head.
No.
Little pliers. I mean, medical pliers.
This guy lined up a Black & Decker here and made sure it was fully charged. Did we charge this last night? Yeah, all right. He fucking backed it up. He fucking backed the screw out, man.
They didn't call a NASCAR team in to change the fucking lug nuts in my face.
Either that or worse would be a ratchet.
Like spinning a Craftsman in your face.
Amazing. So,
but it does hurt to take that out. But these were tiny little metal pins. They are not fucking bolts. Those screws in your face are actual bolts, man.
It's fucking intense, man. So later on, his father is doing a thing with the press here, and he's got a reporter in the car, and he's driving down the street near where Vinny got in his accident. And he said, quote, thing is, Vinny's got these incredible reflexes so he can drive crazy. All his friends try to imitate the way he drives, but they ain't got his reflexes. People used to tell me all over the state, Angelo, he's not going to get hurt in the ring, he's going to get hurt on the road. Crazy. And he wasn't even driving. So they were right, but it wasn't them. So he can drive like that because he's got reflexes. His friends, fucking jerk-offs. They can't drive. Jerk-offs, one and all. Hey, that one jerk-off. Your other friend, fucking jerk-off. They can't drive like you.
Yeah.
So he then said that 2 broken vertebrae aren't going to keep him from boxing.
Yeah.
And his father said, you're out of your mind. You just tell him we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. You know, whatever helps you recover faster, great. But no one's punching you in the face anymore.
Yeah, but how many are the ones that do it? You know what I mean? Like, if it's not 2, how many? You know what I mean? 2's enough for me.
2's plenty. It's 2. I mean, 5, yeah, to stop. But 2, get the fuck out of here. Who doesn't break a couple vertebrae?
That's too many.
Come on. Wow. So he said that he wanted to do it. He said, "Oh my God, I gotta want to fight." And he said that at one point he said, quote, Angelo said, quote, he told me not to worry. He was doing this all along. Then he lifted 50 pounds with his neck. He wanted to show his father what he was doing, so he to show him he had confidence in him. He said 12 times forward, 12 times backwards, 12 times to the left, 12 times to the right. So 48 times in all. I knew right then that he was really going to try to fight again.
Oh, boy.
He's doing it. So he would like to, he said that he was done with all the MRIs. He's fine. He's going to be good. He said, no more MRIs because I'm already a walking Chernobyl. Not doing that. He says, people don't, he's going against everybody's wishes. He said, including his promoter, the Lou Duva. He goes, quote, about Lou, he said, they don't need the money. They got millions and millions. So how many more millions can I get them? They sent me to the doctors in Houston who tried to stop me, but I blew up and made them look at the pictures. So he was like, see, I'm fine. Look, I'll be fine. So then Kevin Rooney, his trainer, he said that he thought he was going to fight from the beginning. He said, after he broke his neck, I knew it when I saw it. He said, quote, there was no spinal cord damage, and he could always move his arms and legs. I knew if anybody could come back from a broken neck, it was Vinny. So he thinks that he wants to move up in weight and do all this shit. Rooney said, quote, he won't get hurt because of the accident. The thing I'm worried about is Vinny will want to prove he can take a shot and let himself get hit. You're not supposed to try to take punches. Right. So, yeah, that's smart. Vinny said, sometimes I think I'm crazy just for boxing. There's always a risk. I'm a realist, but this is what I want to do. If something happens, then this is the way I choose to go out. I know how lucky I am. I see Dennis Byrd and Mike Utley. Those are offensive linemen in the NFL. One a defensive, one an offensive lineman. And
Bird's
that could have...
fascinating story.
Oh, that's a great story. It's a wild story. And that could have been me. But I think life is like a suicide mission. Okay. I don't know about that. I'm taking a calculated risk. I'm getting paid, and I just can't understand how my girlfriend likes going up on roller coasters. I like living on the edge, but I don't like throwing up on myself. He's like, everybody's got their shit there. You're afraid of getting punched in the face. I'm afraid of the roller coaster, but my girlfriend's not. He also says that he's fearless. He said, people would think I didn't have a good defense because I was blood and guts, but I would get cut, and the cut would run down because I was taking anti-inflammatories before the fight. People would think I was getting killed, but I had a good defense. You got to have a good defense to last. Okay. Apparently he was taking anti-inflammatories before he fought, so that makes you bleed more. That's what he's saying. So they'd hit me, I'd bleed like crazy.
So I guess that makes sense, yeah.
They used to do that in wrestling back in the day when guys really wanted to have a bloody one. What is it, aspirin, I think they take a shitload of before the fight. That way when they cut themselves, shit would be
water.
Yeah, that's what they were looking for there. So he ends up coming back 13 months after the accident. He's got a match.
A fucking year from breaking his neck.
That is fucking wild. And he said, I don't want a fucking tomato can. Get me somebody good. I don't want any of this bullshit. So he got...
But 50 pounds, James? A punch is more than that, right?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. It's like 1,000 pounds of per square inch, whatever the fuck, from a boxer.
An insane amount of pressure and energy that's coming at you. That's more than a dumbbell of 50 pounds. Unless you can break a Bowflex with your neck, it's not strong enough yet.
Maybe he can. Maybe that's what he did. So he ends up Luis Santana, 36-14 coming in. So nobody here. Didn't fight like a guy making his debut. It's at the Foxwoods Resort in Connecticut there, and goes all 10 rounds. God damn it. And wins a unanimous decision.
Really?
Comes back and wins it. This is at he's coming in. This is at like 160. These guys are fighting too now. So 154 and then 160. He'll try to be a middleweight after that. So it's wild. Super middleweight is what he's fighting at in a little while here. Next up, Brett Lally, 6th round TKO at the Foxwoods. Next up, Lloyd Honeygon. Jesus. Lloyd Honeygon, TKO in the 10th round. He's 41-3 coming in, Lloyd Honeygon.
That's a good fighter.
And he gets knocked out in the 10th round by Vinny here. Robbie Sims, he goes on to beat in the 10th round, unanimous decision. These are all guys, these are their records: 31-7, 41-3, 37-9-2, 22-5, 22-7. The guys he's fighting here.
Afraid of all of them.
He's fighting real fighters. The Ritz-Carlton in Aspen he fights in. Oh, that sounds fancy.
At least it's lovely.
It's a little lovely. He fights Dan Sherry and KOs him in the 11th round. And then Jacques LeBlanc at the Foxwoods, who's 22-7, beats him, 10th round, unanimous decision. So he's doing very well, I would say. He even won the IBO World Super Middleweight title.
Great.
So good for him. Next up, 1994, in June 25th, 1994, he fights Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone. I mean, we all...
Really great fighter.
Amazing fighter.
Yeah.
Roberto, coming into this fight, is 92-9.
Holy shit, is that real?
92-9.
Oh,
so,
my God.
Problem is, this is the end of it here for Roberto. He's not in his prime. And Pazienza will even say he's not proud of these fights. You know, this isn't like he's not going to brag that he fucking whooped Roberto Duran's ass when he was an old man. So he ends up fighting here. Pazienza goes down in the 5th round, and he's pissed off about that. He goes, he just fucking didn't even see it coming, asshole. But he got right back up. Goes all 12 rounds, but it's a unanimous decision win for Pazienza. This is at the MGM Grand in Vegas. It's a big deal. So next up, 1994 in November, he fights Raphael Williams. 33-13 coming in. This is back at the Foxwoods. Beats him by unanimous decision. Then he gets a rematch against Duran.
Really?
I guess he went the distance. Why not? So here we go. This one is he's 93-10 now because he won another fight since then. Roberto did. This is in January 95 in Atlantic City. Goes all 12 rounds again, and another unanimous decision for Pazienza. So there you go. I guess there was a Pazienza, the decisions here, I guess they were closer than everybody said they should have been on a lot of them, like 116, 112. All the announcers, I guess the announcers were like, I had Pazienza won every round on my card. Really? Should have been 120, 108, and they had it like the judges had 116, 112. They were like close. So it was I don't know what they were doing there. So he said, quote, I don't brag about it because he was like 90. That's what Pazienza says.
Well, 92, actually. 92 wins.
He said that at the press conference before their second fight. I don't brag about the first one because he's like 90, so I'm not going to brag about this one if I beat him up.
Okay.
He said that Pazienza was hoping that Duran... He wanted him to say something nice about him, and Duran said, quote, Jesus Christ, Roberto said he can't wait to kick your... this is what he said through his translator. Yeah. Roberto said he can't wait to kick your fucking ass, and your Playboy girlfriend is going to have to take care of you when he puts you in the hospital.
A 90-year-old man said that.
90. But he said, Paz said he was still tough. He said, quote, it was like hitting an oak tree. I'm thinking to myself, imagine this motherfucker when he was 25. Yeah. So he said the 5th round comes up. I start throwing a bomb, and that's when he got knocked down on that one. So, yeah, he says he gets up and he says, you get up here. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Yeah. Duran said he wasn't going anywhere. And apparently he said he was doing some crazy shit. And he said Duran called him a crazy gringo. And he said, I feel like that's when I got his respect for being crazy. So June 24th, 1995, he fights Roy Jones Jr.
Is that right?
You never thought these would cross. But yeah, Roy Jones 28-0 at this point.
Wow.
And this is when Roy was unbeatably so fast, just a bad. He's fighting at 168. He's fighting at middleweight. He's a bad motherfucker
in his
right
prime,
now.
He chose to fight Roy Jones?
Prime, yeah. He always was looking for good guys to fight. So, yeah, he wants to fight him. This fight goes only to the 6th round, where Pazienza's knocked down 3 times in the 6th round. There's a 3 knockdown rule in effect, and it is called off. And so Roy Jones Jr. beats his ass, which to be expected, obviously.
Sure.
He's going to fight a guy named Dana Rosenblatt first.
Okay. You sure that's a guy?
I think it is. Maybe. This is from one of Vinny's guys in his crew here, I guess one of his promoters or something. He said, Vinny sent a dozen black roses to Rosenblatt's mother before the fight.
Wow.
That was pure Vinny. Then on the night of the fight, Vinny stopped walking toward his dressing room and peeled off in a different direction. The security guard who was accompanying him said, hey, Vinny, that's the wrong way. Vinny said, yeah, I know. I just got to do something first. Then he burst into Rosenblatt's dressing room and told him, tonight's going to be your worst fucking nightmare. I'm going to kick your fucking ass. At which point, security dragged him out of the room. He said, but it was just a continuation of the mind games Vinny had been playing from the time the fight was announced.
Fascinating.
That is crazy. Rosenblatt was 28-0 coming into this fight.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. This is for the WBU World Super Middleweight title. Mm-hmm. And this fight only goes to the fourth round where Vinny knocks him out. TKO.
Fast.
They waved it off. The funny part is he just kept punching. So much so that he fucking floored the referee.
He hit the ref, too?
He hit ref Tony Orlando, knocked him down. He says that he can explain everything. It's fine. The boxing commission said, well, you have a 90-day suspension, so you can figure out your explanation in that. $5,000 fine as well. Yeah. Remember Bill Caton? We've talked about him a lot, a boxing manager. Mm-hmm. He's managed a few of our guys. He says, quote, Vinny feels he has an explanation, as hard as it is to believe. That's what he said about it. So apparently, he punched the referee, and the state boxing commissioner who reviewed the tape said, quote, Vinny Pazienza continued to throw punches long after the referee had stepped in to stop the fight. He certainly had the opportunity, even if one or two punches had been thrown in the heat of battle, to stop, but he continued. So, Pazienza apologized and said he got carried away. He said, quote, I wanted to knock everyone out. Tony just got in the way.
Well, you tried.
He said, quote, I called Tony's room, the referee, later that night, and he says that I said, Tony, I want to tell you I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that. He said, Vinny, don't worry about it, but can I get a rematch? And then we laughed.
Did the ref throw a punch after he got
drunk? No. I think that's the joke of it. Maybe I can get a punch in this time. Now, Rosenblatt starts saying that it was all just a lucky punch. It was a lucky punch. He just hit me with a lucky punch. That's what happened here.
30 of them.
30 of them. So Paz's trainer said, quote, Vinny knew Dana would be open to being hit with that punch. Those first 3 rounds, Dana was just beating the crap out of Vinny, who was already pretty busted up, bleeding all the time. After the 3rd round, Dana, who was always this serious, self-contained guy, did something that was pretty uncharacteristic for him. He put one hand up and kind of dismissively twisted his glove around. I remember thinking, he's in trouble because he actually thinks this fight is over. I knew that this was the time when Vinny was most dangerous. Even in the very next round, Vinny knocked his ass out with an overhand right. A few hours after the fight, I was walking through the casino and ran into Dana's dad, who was a very nice man. I told him, quote, I'm sorry for what happened to Dana, but I got to tell you something. I have no inside information, but I'm pretty sure that right now in Dana's room, his trainer is telling him he got hit with a lucky punch. But Mr. Rosenblatt, let me tell you something. Vinny spent a lot of time getting himself ready to throw that punch because he's a professional, and that's what your boy needs to know.
Yeah.
He left himself open. It wasn't lucky. Yeah. He needs to close that hole in his fucking fighting, basically.
Tell your trainer, no.
Yeah. Well, Vinny said that he saw that hole and they saw it on film, and they were training for exactly for that shot. That was the one they were looking for. So 1997, he decides here that he is going to be an actor.
Oh, no.
Of course. So he is in a movie. He's in a Stallone picture.
No shit.
A Frank Stallone picture. Yes. No shit, Jimmy. He's in a Stallone movie. Hey, Frank Stallone movie. Now, oh man,
that's a sentence that many an actor told their mom and left that Frank part out of the conversation.
That's. I'm in a Stallone
Don't worry,
movie.
Ma, I got a role. I'm in a Stallone movie. Oh, that's
gonna be
great.
fine. It also has Dennis Hopper in it.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's called The Good Life. It's from 1997. It is the synopsis. 3 guys move from New Jersey to Miami, and 2 of them end up killing the 3rd.
Yeah.
It had a director replaced in the middle of filming, which is always a good sign. You always get it's always great when there's 2 completely different visions fucking mashed together on screen by editing. Yeah. That's always wonderful. Starring Frank Stallone, Dennis Hopper, Andrew Dice Clay is in this movie. Who else here that I've ever heard of? Don Barris. I know who he is.
Is this after Speed came out, James?
This is 97, yeah. This is after way post-Speed.
Why is Dennis Hopper doing this?
Money on the side. They probably gave him a few bucks. David Carradine. Beverly D'Angelo's in this movie. Holy shit. So anyway, this movie... There's a problem with this movie. He has a small part in it. Who cares? It doesn't matter what he's doing. what Stallone makes a cameo in this movie for his brother. Okay, does him a favor and makes a cameo. Now, Stallone, from what I understand, he worked a 10-hour day. He really fucking he went hard at it.
Yeah.
He agreed to do the film for a set of golf clubs.
Oh.
He doesn't want. He was doing his brother a favor. He goes, just give me a set of those golf clubs I want, and fucking
Give me
have
a
them.
set of Callaways. They're nice.
Have them ready for me, so when I'm done, I can go fucking hit 18 holes when I'm done on the set. So that's what he said. Kenneth Smith Golf Club is what he wanted. Clubs. So there you go. Kenneth Smith Golf Clubs. I don't know anything about golf. Yeah, because I've never heard of shit. I know Ping. I know
Callaway, Ping, and that's about it.
Whatever they have at like Target or whatever. I don't know golf. So
there's Top Flight.
But there is a clause in his contract that very specifically limits the use of Stallone's name and likeness in advertising. You can't put every scene he was in the trailer and say Sylvester Stallone starring in this. He won't let you do that. That's very specific in the trailer. So what do? Exactly that. Exactly that. 'Cause they're going to fucking do that. Whoever's the producer is going to be like, we're putting Stallone all over this trailer. Not Frank either. So Stallone sues the movie for $20 million.
Oh my God.
Sylvester Stallone sues for $20 million.
It's his brother's movie.
He's not the producer. He's the within it. So I guess he's probably a producer. So this is 4 times the budget of the movie. It's a $5 million budget.
4 times what they're paying Hopper, D'Angelo, everybody combined.
You got it. Everybody. A month later, Frank Stallone and then also the producer countersued Sly Stallone. So Frank sued his brother, now countersued, using one of the people he used on his legal team is Chris Darden, the prosecutor who famously had O.J. Simpson try on a glove that didn't fit him and fucking might have blown the entire case. That guy, yes, Chris Darden. He's on the team. This is fucking crazy. So apparently, eventually, there was an amicable settlement at some point, but the film ends up never being released.
Oh my God.
There's a trailer out there for it that was a release that pissed everybody off. This kind of grainy looking trailer. You can look that up, but otherwise it was never released. It's a big story. It's a funny fucking. I remember hearing about it. I was so happy that this was in there because we could talk about it. So 1997, he's also in the Police Academy series where he plays a boxer.
Which one?
They made a television series based on the Police Academy movies. A comedy about a silly police academy. Yeah, that sounds awful.
They ruined the movies were already ruined by the
they desecrated. They made one in Moscow, for Christ's sake. They ruined it. But that's regardless. This is worse. Yeah. So he's a guest on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno through all this, the Montel Williams show. Wow. After his broken neck, he was very famous, too, after all that. He was a guest security guard on an episode of The Jerry Springer Show. Remember when that was a big deal? Then at WrestleMania, WrestleMania 15, he is the referee for the Bart Gunn versus Butterbean boxing match. That's the final of the Brawl for All, not the final. Bart Gunn, this poor bastard, wins the Brawl for All, and they're like, instead of making him a star, how about we put him in the ring with a professional boxer who outweighs him by 150 pounds, and we'll kick the shit out of him in a round because he knows how to box. How about we do that? And that's what they did.
Watching that whole thing on Behind the Ring, what is it, Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah, and then we did the bonus on it, too.
Watching that episode and seeing that man take that punch is crazy.
Fucking ridiculous. Absolutely silly. So he keeps fighting here. I'm going to buzz through his fights here pretty quick at the end here. He 97 in December, he fights Harold Graham in Wembley Arena in England there. Right. Unanimous decision. It's a 12-rounder for the WBC International Super Middleweight title. He goes all 12 rounds and he loses a unanimous decision. Next, in July of 98, he fights Glenwood Brown, who's 47-10 coming in, and this is a split decision, but he wins it in a 10-round fight. Okay. Next, he fights Arthur Allen, this is at Foxwoods. All these next fights are all going to be at Foxwoods. So he fights Arthur Allen, 23-4 coming in, wins in a unanimous decision. He does. Vinny, next up, January 99. He's still fighting. Jesus Christ. Andra White he fights, 21-8 coming in at Foxwoods. TKO in round 9 for Vinny. Then he fights Joseph Kiwanuka, who's 26-3 coming in, beats him with a unanimous decision. Esteban Cervantes in June of 1999 beats him with a split decision in all 10 rounds. So,
holy fuck.
He's putting a lot of rounds on.
We're coming up on 20 years of boxing. That's not good.
And he's fighting in the, the high 160s. So these aren't little light punches either. This is, you're taking a fucking walloping, and he does not mind getting hit in the face. He has an iron jaw, obviously. He's never been fucking knocked out. You notice that through all this? It's always a decision. So, he tries to do his thing there. Then he fights 1999 in December, Dana Rosenblatt again. Remember him?
Yeah.
That whole deal, the one he knocked out years ago. He's 35-1 coming in, so he still only lost that one fight. And this fight goes all 12 rounds for the IBO World Super Middleweight title. Split decision loss for Vinny on this one.
No shit.
Yes, indeed. So split decision loss. I read this article too. Dana Rosenblatt, he is damaged psychologically by the Pazienza thing. That fight, he says, I never even saw the fucking punch. I don't know. It was a lucky punch. And he's like, my whole life would have been so much different if that didn't happen. If I beat him that night, I could have done this and this, and this would have opened. And he's doing the what if game of this would have rolled into this, would have rolled into this. He said, instead, after that, I just became a name to fight. And it was, I wasn't the same thing anymore. And I wasn't a big deal. And he said that ruined his life, basically. He said he still had a good career.
Boxing.
That's boxing. 2000. Here we go. Vinny is arrested on a Sunday morning, late Saturday night, on charges of drunken driving, recklessly eluding the police, resisting arrest, and assaulting a police officer. That's a full house right there. You got dealt a full house. He's arrested at 3:00 in the morning.
Yep.
By the way, he goes out and drinks every single fucking night like a monster, and either gambles or goes to the strip club. Those are his two big ones that he likes to do.
He's a party animal.
He loves to fucking party. So he gets in a traffic accident in Pawtucket, and he's arraigned. He's released on $5,000 and all that sort of shit. He was driving on the wrong side of the road after leaving a nightclub at 3 a.m., which is if you pull out of a nightclub at 3 a.m., you better drive pretty fucking straight, because right away you're suspect. You start going on the other side of the road without your headlights on and shit, you're getting pulled over.
It's a dead giveaway, yeah.
So he did that, and apparently he insisted on getting out of the car after the cops told him to stay in the car. Yeah. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm getting out. This. So at some point there was, I don't know, they went back and forth, and at some point fucking Vinny went to throw a punch at a cop. Wow. And one of the other cops grabbed his arm as he went to throw the punch and blocked it from fucking going at the guy. So they were going back and forth. At some point he's sprayed with pepper gas. Spray him with pepper spray. They fucking wrestle him to the ground. The whole deal. It's a fucking disaster. It's a disaster. He says he had been drinking, but he wasn't drunk. And he didn't try to punch anybody.
Okay.
Nothing. He goes, I'm a good guy. What are you talking about? He says, quote, obviously, some of those cops didn't like me and wanted to bust my butt and see me behind bars. It's not a coincidence I've never gotten in a fight outside the ring. I make friends with everybody. I'm not a troublemaker. I diffuse situations all the time, and that should have been done by them, the police. You can't swing at a cop. I don't know. That's what I'm going to say.
They're peacemakers. That's what they're supposed to do.
You just can't swing at a cop and expect good results is what I'm getting at from that.
You know what else you can't do is drive with no lights on going the opposite way of traffic at 3 a.m.
He might have had his lights on. I think I just said that, but he definitely was on the wrong side of the road.
Anybody I've never heard of somebody going the wrong way after 2 a.m. sober. Never happened.
No. Because there's no one else on the road, so you can get on your side and just stay there. It's great. Now, early 2001, he legally changes his name to Vinny Paz. I don't know if that's to get rid of the embarrassment, to try to sweep his legal record clean. I'm not sure what he's doing. It's also at this point that he says he had a very serious gambling addiction, and even after his career was over, he had it, and he'll talk about later. His lifestyle was pretty wild, and then he loves blackjack, just loves it. He said he wasted at least $10 million, up to $10 million on bullshit and gambling.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
10 million. He says, quote, "My life has been fabulous because of what I've done. I love being a boxer." He says that I still feel like I did when I was 20, but the stats are in. I'm not 20. I feel like a kid because I hang around kids and box with kids. Nothing's changed for me. I'm getting a little bored with the boxing game, though. It's monotonous. It's a monotonous game. It's monotonous hitting the bag every day. It's monotonous hitting the same speed bag, the same jump rope, the same shadow boxing. I'm still fast, maybe faster than ever. Probably not.
No.
That's not how your body works. Maybe stronger than ever, but the training has always been hard. That's why I'm ready to have these 3 fights and go. He's saying he's going to have 3 more and go, which, by the way, is what a lot of athletes is why they retire, is not from the games, it's from the practice. That's a famous Emmett Smith quote. Yeah. Emmett, when he was retiring, they said, "Wow, you played so long." And he goes, "I could play longer if it wasn't for the practices." He goes, "I can play the games. I just can't get up every day after practice. That hurts."
Yeah, the training sucks.
Yeah, and that's it's a lot. Even David Letterman said that's why he retired. The whole thing was, it's not about doing the show; it's about preparing for the show. I don't have that in me anymore. Right. I can go out there for an hour. That's great, but I'm not going to sit there all day and pick jokes out and shit. That's too much.
The show's generally not the work; it's the work that
we do
the show that sucks.
We do our live shows. They're an hour 45. They feel like they're 4 minutes long. They're so much fun, but the excruciating shit of me preparing that is like having a screw bored into my skull with a fucking halo around it. Yeah, that's hard. So he fights next up, 2001 in February, fights Aaron Davis, 47-6. This guy is. He loses this fight by TKO, so the ref stops it in the 8th. Next up in July of 2001, he fights Pat Lawler, who's 23-13. I don't know, no relation to Jerry, I don't think, but you never know. This is on Roads on the Pawtuxet in Cranston. This is his hometown. This must be for fun, because this is a second round knockout. He beats this guy.
Rhodes on the Pawtuxet? That sounds like a restaurant. Did he fight on the patio?
Rhodes, R-H-O, like Dusty. Weird. Uh-huh. So September 21st, 2001. Wow, that is quick. Yeah. They got a fight lined up real fast. I don't even think SNL was on the air yet.
No, nothing came back together 10 days after.
Damn. He fights Tim Shocks, who's 21-10. This is in Cranston again. Unanimous decision. Wins that one. Next, he fights. The
buildings were still on fire, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, they're still digging people out. And he's like, "I'm going to kick this guy's ass in memory of these fallen people."
We've had it booked. We sold tickets. Let's do it.
No shit. He fights Levon Easley at this point, who 14-6-2, beats him. Now he's got 49 wins. Okay. He's 49-9 at this point.
So many people do this.
49-9. He said he wants one more fight to get his 50th win, and he's happy.
He's fighting the ref.
They should have counted that. Count that fight. He's fighting a guy named Eric Lucas. And he says, quote, "I'm not afraid of anybody, and I'm sure as hell not afraid of Eric Lucas. I respect him as a world champion. He's one tough bastard, but I'm the toughest SOB in the world. That's why I'll win, because I know how to fight." He's getting about $200,000 at most here. He said, "But this is about getting my 50th win." He said, "If I win, I could die 10 minutes later and be happy." Okay. So 50th win, he'll drop dead and be thrilled with it. So this fight goes all 12.
Oh, my.
And he loses by unanimous decision.
Yikes.
So he doesn't fight again for 2 more years. Then really? 2 years later, he comes back to try to get his 50th win. We'll talk about that. But in the meantime, he has some problems. First of all, also, 2002, he's inducted into the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame.
You got him.
He got it. So he and Arturo Gatti are like the 2 last big Guinea fighters, you know? Because Gotti's that's a tough gin right there, Arturo Gatti. Jesus. Have you ever seen any of those fights?
I don't think so.
You never saw any of those Gotti Ward fights?
I don't think so.
Him and Mickey. Oh, my God, dude. It's brutality. They just savage each other. Him and this guy, Mickey Ward, they fought like 4 times.
In the 70s?
No, like 5 years ago,
What?
10 years ago. They beat the shit. They beat each other fucking bloody for 12 rounds. It's a war. It's like a Rocky movie. They're the most. It's the most famous, like, holy shit fights you're gonna find. Gotti Ward.
I haven't watched boxing in so long.
These were just famous as like and you don't even have to like boxing to watch them because it's just holy shit. That's a fight. It's not Mickey Ward or Turo Gotti. So, yeah, a lot of people.
I feel so lost.
A lot of people in that Hall of Fame I didn't know about, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people I didn't know about, but a lot of people I never heard of, too. There's so many people I never heard of that, like, I feel like, I mean, we do a sports show.
Yeah.
That's close, guys. Can we start a fucking petition, please? Because I'm sure, I bet you anything I bet you anything there's media in here. Let me in the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah, there's broadcasting executives.
There you go.
There's a fucking water polo coach. No.
All right.
Come on. I have brought way more attention to fucking American guineas than any fucking water polo coach anywhere on this earth. No.
I guarantee you, yeah, because you've brought people that literally, we get tweets. I hate sports, and I listen to this show because I love the show.
I'm dead serious.
Nobody hates water polo and sports and watched that because of that fucking coach.
There's all sorts of people like that. Here, the CEO of STP. What are you fucking kidding me? He makes oil that goes in cars that people drive. That's not fucking.
That guy?
If that guy gets to be in here, I do too. It's the NIASHF, the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. If you .org. Fucking contact them, please. I want in. I feel I've earned it. Where are the P's? Yeah, Pazienza. Yeah, I'd be near Rico Petrocelli. You got to get me in here. This is good. There's a fucking screenwriter in here, Angelo Pizzo. I'm sorry. Bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Put me in here. Okay.
It's just great Italians. That's all it is?
That are involved in sports. It's a sports hall of fame. So, I mean, there's a screenwriter if he wrote a movie about a fucking sports. So we do this about sports.
He edited Moneyball or some shit.
He wrote a movie about sports. Well, we're doing this about sports, so we've earned
We don't know him.
No, and you don't know me, but put me in anyway. You know me, who's listening now. Yeah. I want in on that. I'm not even kidding. So 2003, he is at the Foxwoods Resort and Casino, not to fight, even though he has fought in 15 main events at Foxwoods there. So they know him there. Oh, no, he's there to gamble. And he's arrested at the casino.
Really?
He's arrested for passing bad checks in Las Vegas. They catch up with him at Foxwoods here.
Do that?
No, they're charging him with 7 counts of non-sufficient funds. He's also charged by state police in Connecticut from being a fugitive from justice and has to post a $75,000 cash bond. So he's fought in 15 main events and 1 arrest at the Foxwoods. That's his record there. So 2004, he fights Tocker Pudwill. I'm not kidding. Tocker, Tocker, Pudwill, Pudwill. And he goes by Tucker Pudwill, which isn't any better.
Nope.
Tucker. Your last name's Pudwill, bro. You're gone. Your first name is irrelevant at this point.
Your first name isn't the joke here, Tucker.
No. And it's at Foxwoods. So they let him back on premises. That's nice.
To make him money.
This fight goes all 10 rounds, and he wins a unanimous decision, getting him his 50th win, bringing his career record to 50-10. And that's where he will retire. He says that, quote, I love the discipline of being a fighter. I loved the climb, the struggle, the agony. I'll miss that. I'm surprised to hear me say I don't want to anymore, but I've been fighting all my life. Boxing's given me everything, but it takes away from you too. Then he says, when I drive into my garage and I see the poster for this fight, I see, come see Vinny Paz's last fight. It's never been my last fight. I had screws in my head and it wasn't my last fight. I wasn't one of the greatest fighters in boxing, but I was one of the greatest stories. I lasted. This is the only life I know. I have the word warrior tattooed on my body, but that don't make me a warrior. What does is I'll go through all the pain to win. So I just want to be remembered as a warrior who lasted, as a guy who fought and never quit. I think I'm very lucky to have survived through all the bad stuff, he says. At this point, he says his father's got his mother's got cancer, his father's got Alzheimer's, he's got a lot going on. He said, I've lost money, millions in the stock market. He actually does also lose that. I've got 2 parents who are ill, yet I'm lucky. Life can be cruel. When I'm dead, I'll be appreciated. They'll miss me when I'm gone. One thing I know how to do is fight. I'm a fighter. That's why I've come back through financial disaster, losses, and the broken neck. I'll be in his face, and I'll be all over and do anything I have to win. 2005, he files for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Accumulates more than $2 million in debt. Oh. Yikes. He owes hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, Las Vegas casinos, and just people that he knows, friends. He filed for Chapter 7. He said that he was playing the stock market in an attempt to cover his gambling debts. He took like a big stock risk.
Wow.
He basically said, fuck, I got to pay the bookies and I lost all my money. Well, I'm going to take the last 100, go to the track and put it on a long shot because otherwise I'm fucked anyway. Right. So if this hits, great. If not, whatever. That's what he did. And he lost all his money again. So he's pretty fucked. He said, I just lost $1 million in the stock market about a month ago. So that, did it for me, is what he says. It was a $900,000 stock gamble in 2005. He was reeling from blackjack losses and owed more than $2 million in back taxes and unpaid markers. So owed $291,000 to the Mirage Casino Hotel in Las Vegas. He wrote bad checks like we talked about. And, he owes $608,000 in back taxes to the IRS and state of Rhode Island, $110,000 to friends who lent him money during the past 2 years. His bankruptcy attorney said, quote, he's blessed with many friends, and he's helped a lot of people in his life. So,
what do they do with you when you're that far in debt?
I don't know. And you can't, how are you going to make it up? He's been known to, they said he gives friends expensive gifts over the years. He's always been very generous. Fucking guineas are generous too. That's the other thing. He earned about $6 million in his career. However, he said that in the last year, he's made about $12,000 from being a sports commentator. So not going well here. 2007, it gets worse. He is arrested for drunk driving.
Oh, Vinny.
Well, it's really drunk sleeping. It's like a Bernard King situation where they knock on the window and he's like, what now? And they're like, get out of the car and put these cuffs on.
I pull over to sleep. You're in the fast lane of the freeway, sir.
What's that now? And you're moving. It's a yellow Jeep. He falls asleep in it. Police say he refused to take a breathalyzer and was arrested for drunk driving because you're not allowed to do that. He was got to report to court and all that type of shit. Then, Jesus Christ, a little while later, he has to turn himself into the Warwick police after being charged with domestic simple assault and domestic disorderly conduct. They said that they received a call, the police did, about 4:14 a.m., That's never a good time to get calls. Whenever anyone calls you at 4:14 a.m., it's not good news, including the police. No one's calling the cops at 4:14 and go, just wanted to say, keep it up. Good job, guys, and hang up the phone. Like,
your boss doesn't call you at 4:14 and say, see you in 2 hours.
No, that doesn't happen. Your mother doesn't call you at 4:14 and go, your grandparents are doing well. They're just doing great. That never happens. They call you then to go, Mom, your grandma died. That's the only time you hear shit. So, yeah, they found his girlfriend with a bloody nose, and then, they issued an arrest warrant for him.
Like she'd been punched in the face?
Like she'd been punched in the face. So he goes to DUI court, and he pleads no contest to the charge of DUI and is fined $600 and ordered to receive substance abuse treatment and perform 60 hours of community service. And you, sir, may fuck off. Driver's license revoked for 18 months. So that's you can't have that. So his life has turned into just a shit drain. It's spinning like things do in a drain now. It's just going bad.
He's made $6 million, but he's lost 10. How do you...
He's got no money.
That?
He owes money. He's got arrests now. He can't fight. He's got all these fucking problems. He doesn't know what to do with himself. His community service. There's all this shit going on. He's sitting there. He's just lost, man. He's damaged. He's lost. And then in the distance, just in the distance, he hears some dogs barking. And he likes dogs.
Yeah.
And he wonders who they are. Then he hears a lady yelling. There's dogs barking. And who is it? It's both Bobby Colorado and my grandma. They're both there to give some Italian advice. And they say... How is it you come to arrive here? What the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing? My Bobby, talk to him. Please, he's a nice boy. Vinci, he's so nice boy. I know your father. He's a nice boy. He's stabbing the Nazi. Very nice. That's good. If she don't stab, then they're going to rape us. So, yeah. Now you stabbed the Nazi.
I saw him do it.
I saw very nice. I said, yeah, good for you. And then he ran into America. I said, oh, he's going to be such a nice boy. Vinny, you're a handsome boy. Your nose is a smoosh. But that's okay. It's okay, right? Hey, listen. This fucking guy. It's not worth your energy, sweetheart. Come over here, honey. You're very old right now. But it's not. You're a fucking jerk off. What are you embarrassing us? You're embarrassing all of us. What are you? Please, Vinny, be good boy, okay? Please, be a nice, handsome boy.
I think of you.
Listen to the lady, would you? Fucking, what are you doing? Listen to her, all right? Come on. Quit fucking around. Don't be stupid, all right? Get the hell out of here. What's wrong with you? Here, take one of these fucking dogs and take care of it, though, all right? All right, then. You ready to go? Please, go. And then poof, in a cloud of marinara sauce and dog shit and everything else, they're gone. And Vinny's mom will be here next week for anybody. She's going to... needed a new Italian lady. So there you go. So next up is domestic violence court. A district judge dismisses domestic simple assault charges against him. She, the accuser, his girlfriend, Ashley Spencer, failed to appear in court. So the judge said her absence endangered his right to cross-examine witnesses in his case, and the case was dismissed. So 2012, he's at a bar, restaurant, whatever the fuck. And he's accused of, this is amazing, he's accused of grabbing a woman's breast, which you cannot do unless they're very close to you and very willing. I mean close like that's your wife, your girlfriend, or somebody who wants their tit grabbed, basically.
Somebody that allows you to do that in a bedroom naked sometimes.
That would like you to do that, which led to an argument between the two of them. Strange. Very weird.
50-year-old ex-boxer grabbing your titty? That's...
Hey, sweetheart, come over here with them titties.
Yeah.
So they're yelling at each other. So her friend comes over to get involved and yell at him too. So now he's arguing with two different women. And the second woman accuses him of hitting her in the throat, grabbing her by the hair and throwing her to the floor, which is awful if you do that. You can't do that. You can't fucking, I'm going to grab your friend's tit. And then when you tell me you have a problem with it, I'm going to hit you in the throat and then throw you to the floor by your hair. Seems like a really crazy fucking thing to do. That's crazy.
It's a situation that you, on paper, sounds bad. It's not easy to explain.
No. Well, he says that in his version of it, he told police that he, quote, grabbed the second woman's wrists until she released, or he grabbed the second woman's wrist until she released him, then she fell. So he's like, she was pulling and then like he let go and she fell. Like, no, I don't buy that shit at all. I'm not buying that personally. That's just for me.
I grabbed a friend by the titty. Hey. She was going to pass out, so I grabbed her by the wrist. Then I let go, and then she fell out.
Listen, Paisan, from bad fucking story. Me to you. Not buying it, Chief.
Not very believable.
Nobody's buying it. You shouldn't be selling it. Let's just put it that way. So he goes to court for that, and he is, I guess, he pleads no contest to one count of disorderly conduct in court, and he is given, you, sir, may fuck off 30 hours of community service, and he must undergo alcohol counseling.
Yeah.
So there's that shit. So 2013 now. He just keeps going.
Cranking him in, huh?
Cranking him in. He is arrested in Rhode Island and charged with malicious damage and disorderly conduct.
Oh, what does that even mean?
Okay, he's in a bar. This is fucking amazing. He's in a bar, and he has a $23 tab.
Okay.
He apparently had some sort of issue, and the bartender asked him to leave, pay your $23 tab, and get the fuck out. So what he did is, here's a quote from the police here. Paz is accused of smashing 2 bar stools against the bars and then throwing them. He continued to confront the bartender, but a friend got between the two. He picked up 2 metal stools and started smashing them against the bar and then threw them across the room, which is
$23.
Insane behavior for any amount of money, never mind $23. That is bonkers. So, they said you can't not pay your bill, threaten people, and smash the joint up. That's not okay to do that shit. So Paz says the whole thing's blown out of proportion because I'm a celebrity. That's all it is. You just know who I am. Otherwise, nobody would care, He also says that he likes to do things to the limit, which, sometimes gets him in trouble. But he's innocent here. Okay. That's a thing here. So he's in court for the what is this? Oh, yeah, that was the court for that. Okay, so he said that he made, this is funny, he said he made $5 to $7 million fighting. Quote, the problem is I've spent $8. He said that, quote, I have a good brain, I just don't use it a lot, which is a problem, I think. You got to use that. 2000.
$8 million is a lot more to spend than $5 million earned. So I understand. You do have a terrible brain.
A terrible brain. Now, 2000, we have to go back to 2009 to know something that happens in 2016. In 2009, he had lunch with a friend of his, a guy named Chad Verdi, and this is a mergers and acquisitions guy. And Pazienza sells Verdi the rights to his life story.
Okay.
Right? And Pazienza says, quote, I was pushed up against the wall. I didn't want to lose my house. So in October 2009, they announced that the movie was going to go into production. Scott Conn was going to play the lead.
Really?
Jimmy Cahn's kid there, Scott Conn. Didn't quite work out like that, as that kind of fell apart. Productions do this all the time. That'll fall apart. Financing will fall through, whatever. It takes years sometimes for this stuff to happen. So then a year later, it was another incarnation of the whole thing, and then it fell apart again. Mm-hmm. Then I guess Angelo Rizzo, who wrote Rudy and Hoosiers, so writes fucking boring, inspirational white people sports movies. Good for you. I know people love fucking Hoosiers, and I love Gene Hackman, and I cannot fucking watch that movie because it bores me to tears. There is nothing more boring than watching white children dribble basketballs in 1956 or whatever the shit. I can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry. So that ends up happening. They signed on to rewrite the script, and Paz called that script, quote, fucking terrible.
Yeah.
He said it so easily could have come out then, and it would have been nothing. It would have gone to Channel 12. Thank God it didn't. I don't know what Channel 12 is. I don't know what channel that is there, but
it's
Channel 12.
Rhode Island thing, probably public access.
Maybe. 2012, Verdi, who still has his rights here, goes to Los Angeles to meet with new writers. He hired Ben Younger, who wrote and directed Boiler Room.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's not a good movie, but it's a movie that came out and was out, and it's a terrible movie, but it was a big deal. They'll put it that way. So he said he chose not to read any of the previous scripts and any of that shit. Instead, he wanted to find out who Paz was. Mm-hmm. Went to Rhode Island to meet with him, and then he wrote the script. Paz says that, quote, he just fucking nailed it. He got it right. Yeah. A year later, Verdi calls Paz up and says, got good news. Scorsese's going to be executive producer on this.
Stop it.
Which is pretty fucking good news. So then he was like, holy shit, this is going to happen. He spent only one full day on set, and he watched like everything, and he said after watching them set stuff up for a while, he said, quote, this is really fucking boring. I'll see you guys at the wrap party. Showed up one day to watch filming, and he's like, I don't want to sit here and watch this. This is boring as shit.
Stupid.
Watching a movie being filmed is the most boring thing you're ever going to see. It's people doing technical things and then watching people do the same thing for 10 seconds over and over and over and over again. It's terrible. So, the movie's called Bleed for this. And you remember this movie?
No.
It was out a few years ago. No, not Scott Baio. I think he was a little too. I think Vinny's younger than Scott Baio.
He might be.
I think he is. So he said that Yeah, he was very excited about it. And Miles Teller is the guy who plays him.
No?
An actor? I don't know who he is. I guess probably. I don't know. No, he's not 6'7", so maybe not.
No, that's Penn Jillette. What's Teller's
you're
name?
Sean Penn. Oh, you're Teller. You're Penn.
Why did
Jesus. I don't know. You're Teller. Yeah, so he never speaks. He'd be a terrible actor.
Very quiet.
I guess Teller, who had been he was in a near-death car crash as well. So he doesn't look like him or anything like that. But I guess he said that he transformed his body, looked like an athlete, looked like him. And he says, this is the actor, some of my best friends are special forces guys. Vinny's got that mentality. He's a warrior in the ring. When I met him, he said, Miles, you've got to be tough as nails. Eat nails for breakfast, kid. One of my friends is from Providence. When I said I was playing Vinny, he told his dad, and his dad was like, no way. Oh, man, that guy was the best. So he figured that out. He said, this is fucking amazing. When Paz learned that the guy Miles Teller was going to be playing him, he mailed him something.
Oh, boy.
That is a picture of Vinny Paz in his underwear. It's autographed. And it says, quote, shove a banana in your undies if you have to make it bigger. Don't ruin the reputation, kid. Seriously, don't fuck it up. Don't make my dick look small, whatever you do.
Yeah, I don't know what you're packing down there, but I got this, so...
I got a fucking hog, so you need to get it together.
Be anatomically correct, motherfucker.
Let's go. So they visit him at his house, this press thing, and he's remodeling his house. I guess pipes burst and there's water damage everywhere. They say there's stacks of all these pictures of, he's got all his like famous people pictures, him and OJ.
Oh, that's not a good picture.
Him and Tom Brady, him and Pete Rose, him and Barry Bonds. Just cheaters and murderers. Just that, those people. Cheaters and murderers. You know how it goes.
Pictures with sports players that everybody universally hates.
Yeah, there's the ones. Hugh Hefner, Stevie Wonder. He points one out and says, here's Ali. I said, I'm only doing this because of you. You're the reason I started boxing. And he pulled me in and whispered, pretty boy. And I said, no, you're the pretty boy. It was really cool when he took the picture with Ali.
So he lied to Ali. That's a nice story.
That's a nice story. Real nice. So he said he wanted to be the white Ali. That's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
He said he was excited about Scorsese executive producing because he directed Raging Bull, which is about Jake LaMotta, so it's all fucking coming full circle here. He says about Jake LaMotta, he pulls out a photo of him with Jake LaMotta, and he says, quote, Jake LaMotta, not a good guy, nasty. He had a tough life, Jake LaMotta, so that doesn't bother me. Then he says he shows him pictures with Stallone and all this shit. He says he loves Miles Teller. Quote, I love this kid. They're trying to make him the next Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, that didn't work because it's about 6 years later. He's going to be the next big thing on the block. Aaron Eckhart was Kevin Rooney, and Peggy Bundy is his mother. Katie Siegel is his mother. Yeah, that's pretty fucking funny. He says the Wall of Pain also. He says there's pictures of all bloody pictures, and he says, quote, it's the Wall of Pain, bro. Here's me with my broken neck, a broken nose here I'm bleeding like a pig, here bleeding from one eyebrow to one eyebrow. Was it worth it? Abso-fucking-lutely.
He put pictures up on the wall of him just with his face beat up?
His Wall of Pain, his worst.
Wow.
Yeah, that's to see it. One scene in the movie was after winning a fight in Atlantic City, Miles Teller here as Vinny goes to the gambling tables with $500 to his name, and hours later he comes back to his room with $20,000 that he won, and he throws the chips all over his penthouse pet girlfriend who's laid out on the bed waiting for him, and they have a celebration. And Vinny, when he saw the scene, yelled at the director, "What the fuck, man? That's fucking bullshit." He said, quote, Ben, what the fuck? I won $65,000, not $20,000. I fucking told you that. And Ben said, I know, Vinny, but no one would have believed that. So it's like, your life is beyond movies, dude. It's fucked up. You're a maniac. The review of the movie, it did the money-wise, it didn't do too well here. It initially was expected to gross around $5 million, and it grossed less than $900,000 on opening day.
Oh.
And so they lowered it to $2 to $3 million. It ended up not doing too well, but on Rotten Tomatoes it had a 70% approval rating on 145 reviews. So that's not terrible at all. What is this here? Richard Roper said Miles Teller gives the performance of his career as Vinny the Pazmanian Devil Pazienza, and writer-director Brent Younger delivers one of the best boxing movies of the decade in Bleed for this. So there you go. Not bad.
Yeah.
So people are playing him. I mean, that's not, people want to be him, except unfortunately, some people didn't sign up and pay to be Vinny Pazienza.
How fucking many?
They just are. And for these people, I feel bad for, including Vinny Pazienza, student at Universitas Trisakti in Jakarta. Vinny Pazienza, journeyman automotive service technician at Western GMC Pontiac Buick in Alberta Beach, Alberta.
What?
Vinny Pazienza, manager / social media coordinator at Ithaca College wrestling team, Ithaca, New York, Ithaca College. Vinny Pazienza, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, El Paso, Texas. And my favorite of all, Vinny Pazienza Esquire. And it says it right on his fucking thing. Managing shareholder at Paz Law. My God. This guy fucking...
That's amazing.
He went to Harvard Law School, this guy.
No shit.
This Vinny... very different life, this Vinny Pazienza. In real life, he said he hadn't gambled in 10 years. He says he still goes out drinking just about every night, but to avoid a DUI, he sold his car.
Good call. Well, you can't drive it anyway.
It doesn't matter. He sold it now. He was going to drive and be drunk. He said he's had a girlfriend for 3 years. Not bad. She's 27, so, She dances at the Cadillac Lounge, by the way. Not kidding. And volunteers with the elderly in her off time.
Wow, what a darling.
He says that he doesn't care how the movie does. He said, quote, I don't give a fuck about money. I just want everybody to see it because I know it's the most inspirational story. One guy told me that he got out of a fucking wheelchair and that he's walking with crutches now because of me, and it don't get no better than that.
What?
So, yeah, he says...
The guy saw my movie?
He was inspired.
Magically healed him?
Inspired by him. He says they're talking to him about 10 p.m., and he says, they said, what are you going to do the rest of the night? And he says, same as every other night. I'm going to put on a pot of coffee at 10 p.m., exercise, take a shower, call some friends, then head out on the town.
Oh, my God.
That sounds like around midnight he's going to be heading out. He'll probably end up at a strip club. He said, there you go.
Why? You don't have any money.
Next thing you know, he's suing the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
So doesn't give a fuck about money. Then he's suing, saying his signature was forged on contracts connected to the film and claims he's owed at least $175,000.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. He says that, according to him, he was paid $125,000 of the $300,000 that he was promised by Verdi and Younger. This breach of contract and unlawful enrichment, or among other things they're saying here. He says the contracts were executed without the signatures Vinny Pazienza or Vinny Pazienza, either with a Y or an IE.
Okay.
But he says Paz refuses to sign documents that do not correctly use his legal name, which is changed to Vinny Paz. So he said that he didn't sign those. So then they file a suit back at him, denying the forgeries and claiming that they don't owe him any money. They state that the project contracts were amended in June and that Paz reduced his fees due to problems in procuring the budget for the film. Right. So, it's a fucking mess. Eventually, though, the boxers, they say that the counterclaim and the original claim were both voluntarily dismissed without action or consideration by the court due to a mutual understanding. So if they out of court, they threw him a couple bucks. Not worth it, apparently. So, anyway, there's that. He said that it was a misunderstanding, is what he said, that's been resolved. He does say he is sad about some things, though, that have happened. He's proud of most stuff, but he said, the domestic violence charges bothered me the most.
That'll do it, yeah.
He said, quote, I don't hit girls. Never have. It's not my style. I was going around Rhode Island and people were looking at me in disgust. It was the worst moment of my life. He says he does like to drink, though. He's not going to lie there. He says, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not proud of it. It's just what I like to do. He says, by the way, he has a wine coming out called 5 Times Better, a nod to his 5 championships. And he said he doesn't know if it's a Merlot or what it is. He says, quote, red wine. I don't know. I want it priced low and taste great.
He doesn't know what it's
I don't know what the fuck they're making. It's red. I don't fucking know. It might be a
they
blend.
named it after me. It's going to get me a paycheck. That's
who knows? They gave me like 10 grand. I don't care. So 2018, police report comes out here after what's called a wild incident.
Yeah.
Here, police said that he and his girlfriend showed up at a Providence apartment building on Hawkins Street and banged loudly on the door. A woman said that Paz rushed inside the door and accused a man named Nathaniel Lavoie of stealing $16,000 in cash from him. The argument quickly gets out of control with Paz punching, knocking out some of this guy's teeth, and then biting him as well, drawing blood with bites.
Jesus Christ.
Then taking off in a black Jeep. Paz screamed as he was leaving, soon I'll get you all together and you'll see what happened. He claims, though, that that guy robbed him and he's the victim. He said, quote, I'm the innocent one. I got robbed. Mm-hmm. He allegedly punched the man in the face, quote, multiple times, leaving him with an eye swollen shut, several broken teeth, some knocked out, and bleeding bite marks. Paz had a black eye, too. So he seemed to get the better of him, though. Mm-hmm. So according to the narrative here, a woman named Mindy Baptista told officers she heard banging at the door about 11:30 p.m. She said Paz rushed in with his girlfriend when she opened the door. He confronted this Nathaniel guy with the theft allegations. It got physical, and Lavoie told police Paz, quote, punched him in the face multiple times, causing him to lose/break several teeth. Mm-hmm. Paz and his girlfriend, Alexis Cougar, fled in a black Jeep Cherokee with temporary plates after the woman and the Mindy lady informed them that she had called police. So they said that Baptista said Lavoie briefly lost consciousness and fell at least 3 times during the assault.
Wow.
Alleged assault, whatever. A detective later noticed that the eye was swollen shut, and he was admitted to a hospital. Another witness, Jonathan Santos Castro, told police he was sleeping in the apartment when all the commotion woke him up. He said he also saw Paz hitting Lavoie with a closed fist, and that Paz appeared to be intoxicated, angry, and accusing Lavoie. That's a bad combination. So Lavoie told the News, who came to talk to him, that he didn't steal Paz's money. He says, quote, he's an idiot. I didn't steal nothing. I don't need to steal nothing from nobody. He's an idiot. I love it. That's a great quote. The judge in the case ordered, Paz to stay away from this guy, and they're looking for him. They end up apparently this guy, they were friends, because Nathaniel told police that he was assaulted by his friend, Vinny Pazienza. So anyway, Vinny says, quote, bottom line is I got robbed, and when that happens, you got to do what you got to do. You got to beat the shit out of people, apparently.
You got to take some teeth out.
You got to bite at the same time. This is on New Year's Day, so he's kicking the day off, the year off right. Lavoie has also had some previous brushes with the law, some driving with a suspended license, domestic assault, arrest, felony domestic assault, simple assault, domestic vandalism, fugitive from justice charges, simple assault. There's a lot of assault charges going on there. So anyway, he denies it. He says, quote, tried to help somebody out and now I'm the bad guy. Literally what he said. Tried to help somebody out by taking a couple of teeth out for him and he told me we're a problem. Rap sheet I get robbed and I'm the victim and the media wants to side with the liar and thief. Okay to use that. Go ahead. I don't even care. Wow. He says, quote, this guy, about Lavoie, has a rap sheet. Go look. He said Vinny filed a report on his home robbery. This is his friend. Detectives on the case. Next thing, he didn't break in anywhere. He has a broken nose. This kid tried to help. This kitty tried to help many times. Vinny's the victim. It's for the children. For the kids. So, little while after that, while he is still on bail for that, basically. Warwick Police Captain Michael Gilbert said officers were called to his house for a domestic incident at 3 a.m. A relative of his girlfriend called the police after she said she reached out and said Paz assaulted her. Police responded to reports of screaming coming from Paz's house at about 3 a.m. Quote, upon arrival by responding officers, they could hear Vinny shouting at someone inside. When the officers knocked on the door, the inside lights were shut off and everything went quiet. This is a way to tell you that I'm inside. No one was answering the door or phones. They had to force entry into the home through the garage, the police did. They said that they found Paz with blood on his right hand and face, and that Cougar, his girlfriend, had visible injuries. She was taken to the hospital and all that sort of thing. They said that Paz refused to come out the door and shut off all the lights again, and they said they still had to pull him out. So Paz and his girlfriend, they're found in the bedroom, both having obviously signs of being in this whole an issue here. He was placed in a police cruiser and his girlfriend was taken from the house on a stretcher. So they called her injuries relatively minor, but they were being on the safe side, they said.
Cautious, yeah.
Extra cautious. He is going to, after that, he pleads no contest to charges of assault on his girlfriend. But now, even after he claims no contest, during sentencing, she says, he didn't hit me. I changed my mind.
Oh, God damn it.
Changed my mind. She said, I hit myself in the face with the phone. That's what happened.
He doesn't have anything. Stop this.
And then he got blood on his hands because of that. So, yeah. So she says he didn't do it. She said she hit herself with a phone. Quote, I ended up smashing myself because I do that.
Oh, boy.
She said she was drunk, and when she got Paz in an argument, they got into an argument with him. She said, I ended up doing stupid stuff to myself that I wouldn't end up doing if I was drunk. Okay. Oh, my God, this is a fucking mess. I don't even know. Like, I want to be like, oh, I don't want to feel bad for this person, but I don't know what the fuck happened here. This is such a mess. It's like, you guys sort it out and tell me who to feel bad for, because, I always want to feel bad for a domestic violence victim, but at the same time, if you're like, I hit myself in the phone because I was mad at him, with the phone because I was mad at him, what are we talking about?
And that's what I do when I'm drunk.
Yeah, because I do that. Like, I don't know if I believe her or not. So she said the phone inadvertently dialed her ex-husband, who lives in New Jersey. She said while she was hitting herself with the phone, it fucking called her ex-husband.
She accidentally hit the phone
her
with
forehead
her forehead.
Called her ex-husband.
Right sequential numbers to call her ex-husband?
It is fucking wild. She said her ex abused her during their 7-year marriage, and he will do anything to ruin her new relationship. So she said that he called the cops. She said, quote, everything he said to them was a fabrication and a lie. Not just a fabrication and a lie. So
that would mean she has to have him on speed dial, right? To accidentally dial him?
I mean, maybe he would. So either way, he's walking out of court here. He pled no contest. They give him, you sir may fuck off, 1 year of probation and 1 year suspended sentence, and he's ordered to have no contact with the victim. A friend of his who was bringing him home said he's going to be getting help for his alcohol. He's signing autographs outside the court, and he's asked if, did this happen and do you have an alcohol problem? And as he signed an autograph, he said, and I quote, this is a quote of the year candidate here, quote, nothing happened. I'm always innocent.
All right.
I'm always innocent. That explains everything. Why the fuck did we even bother then? Sorry.
Every damn time, no matter what they say in there.
Always innocent. Then he says he's got to undergo counseling for domestic violence and alcohol, but he says he doesn't have a problem. He says, quote, I don't have a drink before 10 at night, ever. I don't have a problem. It doesn't matter what time you start. It's how drunk you get, I think, is the issue.
Yeah,
so,
if you do it every day, who gives a shit?
I don't have a problem, and Rhode Island closes at 1, so it's a couple hours. And so Cougar, his girlfriend, calls what happened a flawed justice system for the arrest of him. She said, I will be speaking to whomever I have to make sure that they know that Vinny Paz is totally innocent. Vinny, all he did was take me in and try to take care of me, and I will tell everybody that I know that's what happened. He never put his hands on me. That's what he said there. So Yeah, it's a fucking mess. He says, quote, and this is a good quote to his last words from Vinny. He said, quote, "My life is so fucking nuts. It's amazing. I'm not better than anybody, but I'm different from everybody. I just happen to be a strong little fucking animal."
Strong little fucking animal.
Strong little fucking animal. This year, or this was last year, 2 years ago, his house was scheduled for auction. It was being foreclosed upon. And there's federal and state tax liens on the property. Shows that these tax delinquents of $375,483 in back state taxes. According to the auction listing, there's an auction and all that kind of shit. And what they do out of nowhere, I don't know, I think someone he knows helped him out, because out of nowhere it was abruptly canceled with no explanation, the auction. Yeah. So I think somebody paid him up to date or some shit, helped him out here. So nobody knows what happened there. But anyway, there he is. He's in the top 100 income tax delinquents in the state at this moment in time. So he's always a top 100 guy, whether it's boxing or tax delinquents or whatever. Vinny Paz, can't get enough of Vinny Paz. Well, there's signed gloves and there's all sorts of shit. And, go ahead and go watch one of his fights. They're entertaining if you want to have some fun. So there you go. That is Vinny Pazienza, everybody.
Wow.
Italian boxers, fucking crazy. Italians who've been hit in the head. You're going to get craziness. So there you go. He's wild. I've been saving that story forever because I knew it was crazy. Him and Paul Spadafora,
He really has just given it all away.
He really has. It's a mess. There's a movie, and no one made any money off it, including him, apparently. It's a fucking disaster. Either way, if you like that story, tell the world about it. Give us a review. Go on whatever platform you listen on, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Audible, whatever you want. You can leave us a review. 5 stars would be wonderful. It really does help the show a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com today, right now. Get your tickets for the February 10th virtual live show.
Yes.
Coming up soon next week. We can't wait for it. We're very, very excited. Yeah. We're jacked. It's an episode of Small Town Murder, and we do it right on those virtual live shows. More booze, more weed, more pictures, more jokes, more craziness. And people have asked how long they are. They're about an hour 45. Yeah. It's not like a 3-hour show. It's about an hour 45. It's kind of like a movie or a comedy show, in and out. So check it out there. Shutupandgivememurder.com is where you get those tickets and all your merchandise and everything else that you could possibly want there. You can follow us on social media. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, so you can get all the up-to-date stuff and know what's happening with your fellas here. You can do that as well as something you definitely need to do. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports, Jimmy. You guys need to sign up for Patreon because it is bumping, and we have really, really, really crazy stuff this week. This week we have, and anybody $5 or above, you get access to both shows, bonus episodes, the whole back catalog, over 100, it's like 125 episodes on there, all sorts of stuff, crazy stuff. This week for Crime and Sports, you're going to get this guy. His name is Ron Weaver. And he's an imposter. Yeah. Not really. It's not like a Barry Bremen where he just puts a uniform on and goes out there. Yeah. He was a college football player, a mediocre one. And then a few years after he was done, he just said, I'm this guy now, and went and played major Division I college football. And they were like, wow, this guy's amazing because he's 25 and he's crushing 18-year-olds.
Yeah, he's not 18.
The story is wild. There's a huge downfall from it. It's a crazy shit story. So check that out. And then Small Town Murders is going to be one I'm very excited for. We are going to look at the first couple years of the town of Deadwood, South Dakota. This is kind of when the show Deadwood was taking place, the beginning of the newspaper. It's still a camp. It's not even part of the United States. It's not even a territory. It's just an outpost. So crazy stuff
from there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is the newspaper from there. So we're going to hear about crazy old timey shit, some serious old West murders happening, fucking miners, prospectors stabbing each other in a creek and shit. It's going to be fucking amazing. And lots of talk of Al Swearingen and Seth Bullock and all the people from the show. We'll find out what the real people are up to around that time. do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that. And you'll get a shout out at the end of the show, which we're going to do in just a second. Jimmy will mispronounce your name brutally while trying so hard to get it correct. He will definitely do that. In addition to that, you can also make a donation on PayPal, which again will get you a shout out, which will be fucked up by sure, but you'll like it. It'll be more fun fucked up. That said, Jimmy, hit me with the name of the goddamn people who have been so nice to us and would never ever hit our giant pizza noses off of our faces. Hit me with them right now.
This week's executive producers are Tracy Mitchell, Melissa Turner, Jordan Bennett, and happy birthday, Abby, whose last name will soon be Whitney. Thank you guys so much for everything you do.
Thank you.
It's really staggering. Other producers this week are Kaylin Bancroft, Corporal Carl Kirshner, Scott Boogerstein, Peyton Meadows, Berkeley's Gulp, Chunky, Chartreuse, Troutbait, James.
Yeah, see?
That stuff works terrifically, I understand.
I'm telling you. Chartreuse, baby.
Elizabeth Mweech Woody, I think. She goes by BMW. It's much easier that way. Big Ed's Missing Neck, cool. James Martyr, Robert Shea Bully. Mark Pruitt, Barry Fartstein. Oh, for Pete's sake. Mark Pruitt, I said that. Oda Mae Brown. Isn't that Whoopi Goldberg's name in Ghost? Oda Mae Brown? Am I right?
Maybe. That's possible.
I think it is. Tiffany Whitley.
Possible.
Happy hour in Midland, Texas this week. Frank, the South African bird-watching whore. God damn it. Samantha Puckerbrush Burgoo Quigley whore. Evidently, that's a mouthful. Christina Brayton, Janice Hill, Hannah Berkner, Justin McNeil, Charity Lee, Blue Whiskey, and Hudson up at CentennialKennels.com. Furologist Brittany, that's somebody that gives animals haircuts, I imagine.
Cool.
Jeff Shrewsbury, old native man who helps dances with vapes.
Oh, yes. From
Travis going to Titans games with Andrew since the 2-14 season.
Wow.
It's a long time to put up with that shit.
No
Frank,
shit.
the alpha South African bird washer.
Oh, he's in charge now.
Mike Mondragoon. Marta McCammond. She's crowdfunding for help for her friend's infant with SMA. If you can help her find her on social media and give her a hand.
Yeah,
Marta
do that.
McCammond. Mary Ireland, Yvette Anaya, Katie Davies de Jesus, Yvette with no last name, Danielle Alari, Jared Evans, Erland Aoun. No. Tommy, not a scientist, Thorstensen, Steve Cummings, Iona Montanaro, I think, Heidi Sinsley, Celeste Warlick, damn it, Bobby, Matthew Lee. God, I'll tell you what, that is one of the best shows ever made. What an amazing... King of the Hill is terrific. Angela Pagan, Rob Sargent, Lisa Marie, Nancy Colley, Joseph Temple, Jessica Quire, Kyle with no last name, Hannah Buckley, Hannah with no last name, BSA, Uzo Hughes, Paul Williams, Alex Schaefer, Danielle with no last name, Sam Coakley, Chandra Thomas, Red Royalty, Andrew Melizia, Mary Byrne, Jamie Austin, or Jaime, Squiggums, Krista Johnson, Chantel Long, or Longy, Joe Conrad, Laura Evans, Aaron Bradford, Kitty White, Kimberly Nyquist, Lynette Chambers, Becky Eichhoff, Jillian with no last name, Anthony Littlefield, Justin Sick, Fez Disturbed, Isaac Deeds Nuts. Probably not. Kenneth Sovey, I think. Danny fucking K. I threw the fucking in there because his name's Danny K. That's
Danny
amazing.
K. That
Patrick with no last name.
K.
Fapton Cantastic. That's pretty good. Kimmy Dale. Jacob Jackson. Mother Truck in America. Brandon Drake. Reenie DePoy. Jeannie Burry. Zara Green. Rhiannon JP. Devin Felon. Tiffany W. Matthew. Nope, that's Maggie. Jacques, Christy Ollerhead, Patricia Reed, Jennifer Brooks, Holly Parr, Graham Reed, Jeff McBride, Carlos Reyes, Stephanie Rogers, Gozia email, what? I don't know what that is. Ruby Hoffman, Shannon Albert, Riley Barnes, Pocket Robin Turner, Bug with no last name, David Jones, Rebecca Mitchell, Merle Rodriguez, that's awesome, Jade Bloyd, Ryan Adams, Cheney with no last name, Michael Potter, AJ AJW, red ape cinnamon, high oil content? Do you know what that shit is? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Bola Matt, Blake with no last name, Eric Dixon, and Lauren Hirsch, Tony Febo, Bethany Parsons, Clara Lee, probably, Zubaida, Mary Nolan, Aaron Estrella, Jacob Foster, Sean Rice, Saturnson.com. Tickle my fanny. Oh, boy. That in England, that means something different. John Ayers, Amanda Alexander, A.S., Scott McCoskey, Justin Wilson, Matt McNeil, Tiger Kime, Ben Robinson, Chris Bell, Ashley Dembski, Robin Long, John with no last name, Brian Kubiak, Josh Smith, Mackenzie Johnson, Christopher David Mitchell, Ritesh Bhandari, Sasha Kendall, Stupid Flanders, whatever that means. Jennifer Johnson. No, that's Jenny Johnson. Thank you, Jenny. It's a very easy name to pronounce, evidently. Yeah, Alicia easy. Johnson, Logan Dockler. Oh, boy. Will Sargent, Kelly, Baraliski. What? Jen Devlin, Chad Reichensperger, Greg Jim, Tabitha Gill, Israeli Miranda, Lisa Akers, Emily Godbout Westerberg. What? Oh, boy. Tiffany Zeiss, Maria Kirschner, Ryan Boutillier. That's not right. Adam Ciampi. I think Chiampi, Michael Anderson, Jennifer O'Regan, Thena Nativo, Abby Freeman, Sean with no last name, Kanami Kieran, Katie Biddle, Melanie Fagan, Alan Moore, Pinchy with no last name, Royce Bevan, and David Steele, and all of our patrons. You guys are the best people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for everything that you do for us. We're blown away by it, so thank you so much thank you, honestly, for everything you do. We're just very thankful. So, Jimmy, what if people wanted to thank either of us? How could they find any of us out there?
Find us on Patreon. If you want to be with us, be there, and we really appreciate it.
Or just Google the show. You can find out how to follow us on all that bullshit. And you can find us out there. But I think we're good on that. We've talked about a brain-damaged guinea, had a lot of fun. Wow. Good times here. Good times, good head beatings, lots of crazy shit. And it's just going to keep happening over and over and over again. And for now, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country, who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.